Welcome to FreQuenczy and RedToa's live stream part 9.
Hello, everyone.
This is kind of cool. When I first had the idea to do this, I originally thought we could do this all in one go.
Really?
And it would take, but then I did the math, and it was like 60 some hours.
Man, like even without like breaks between?
Yeah, no breaks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was like, no, let's not do that. We're here at number 9, and we're going to start the show with Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. I'm going to wait a little bit for people to come into the stream. How's everybody doing? Who we got in today? We got Josh Man. How's it going? Williams, Physical Media, Walk Up, Dean Gavin, Nick Gray. How's everybody doing? Happy Easter to everybody.
Happy Easter.
So I saw an article that cocoa prices have like skyrocketed, which made
Cocoa price?
okay. Which made Easter Bunny candy prices
oh man
go up a lot. So a lot of people are mad about that.
That's too bad.
I can't remember the last time I got an Easter Bunny for Christmas.
Christmas
for Easter. Never.
I
for
think
Christmas.
I think Mom once sent me like a care package, like either during high school or college, and it had an Easter Bunny in it. That's probably the last time I got one.
Slim Nave, thanks for joining.
And Bolt Mouse is here.
Yes, Bolt Mouse. I beat Xenoblade 3 Future Redeemed on Friday and had a blast.
Good for you. I heard it's very good, but I haven't gotten it yet.
No.
That's the DLC. Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Guess what, guys? I bet you're all jealous, but I've watched the newest review that will come out soon.
Oh,
so
yes. You got a sneak peek.
Yep. I got exclusive access.
Mm-hmm. It's not quite ready, but it will be soon. He got like the beta version.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna update it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. All right, let's start with Super Smash Bros. Here we go.
It's time for the Super Smash Bros. For Wii U review. For the Wii U.
Your mic sounds really good.
Oh man, ever since I heard the first announcement for this game, I've been stoked. Then, when we all saw the first E3 trailer, it was so awesome. Until near the end, when we first saw the name. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U? Really? That's the best name they came up with? Sakurai, come on. If they were trying to come up with a name that would blatantly distinguish the Wii U and 3DS versions, they sure hit the nail on the head. But why give them such formal names? Why not Super Smash Bros. 3D? And why not, for the love of Smash Bros., did they not call this one Super Smash Bros. Universe? In my opinion, that seriously would have been the best name for the Wii U version.
Much better.
Not only would it be a very fitting title connecting the game with the console it's created for, but never before has a Smash Bros. Game have so many characters join the battle, and in which a handful are from third-party developers. It may be me, but this choice to name these two games what they did just blows my mind. Phew! So, there's my rant about the names. Please note though, the names do not affect the score in the end. So let's get to the main game. If you are not familiar with the Smash Bros. Series, the objective in the main game mode is to first select any character you wish, choose a stage to battle on, then duke it out either against the computer or your friends. The point is to knock your opponents off the stage. Don't worry, Mom and Dad, you won't see any blood here. When a player takes damage, their percentage will increase. The more percentage a player has, the easier it is for them to be knocked farther back. Most characters have their own unique movesets, but just like it has been since the first Smash Bros. On the N64, there are clone characters. Like Ganondorf is a clone of Captain Falcon, and Lucina is a clone to Marth. These are just a couple, but there are more. Now when I say clone, that's only in regards to the character's movesets. Clones are usually slower and stronger, or faster and weaker than their source characters. Or like with Lucina, her sword does the same amount of damage no matter where you strike an opponent with it, whereas with Marth, more damage is done at the tip of the blade. Even with these differences, I still don't like the fact that there are clone characters. I just wish they had their own movesets. Now I will say, even though he is a clone, I do like having Ganondorf back. But I hate that they didn't bring Lucas back from Brawl. Why was this decided? He was in my top 3 main in Brawl. I really hope they put him as DLC. If I had to choose one clone to come back, Lucas would definitely
saw this review.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to do it now.
Features in this Smash title
you were
is
the
now
deciding
up to
factor.
players can smash it out all at once. Talk about a crazy battle. Too crazy sometimes. Although a really cool idea, it can be pretty difficult telling where your character is, especially if it's on a small map like this one. It is pretty sweet though, and to accommodate more than 4 players, there are some crazy huge stages, as well as a larger version of Battlefield, simply dubbed Big Battlefield. There are many modes in this Smash title, with Classic of course returning once more. However, it has been changed up in the way that you now have more control on who you battle in each round. On a platform, you get to move your trophy self to either a horde of character trophies to battle, or a small pack of trophies to fight. Winning each round will let you progress further and further until you reach the final battle, which, depending on what difficulty setting you set it at, can be Master Hand or Master Hand and Crazy Hand together. Now, if you set it at a high enough difficulty, and after both hands have taken enough damage, a new fiend to join the Smash universe will appear, called Master Core. Here, this enemy has the potential to turn into 5 different forms. A humanoid to start out, then a vicious beast, then 5 deadly swords, then a doppelganger of the character you currently are, and then, if you have the difficulty set on at least 8, Master Fortress will appear. Here, you have to find and destroy 4 orbs hiding within, all the while avoiding and or attacking shadow-like enemies, and especially avoiding an acid-like substance along the walls, ceiling, and floor of the Great Beast. If you have 100% or more damage and you touch the acid, you will instantly die. So here I am, on level 9 difficulty nearing the last orb. The enemies seemed relentless in their ploy to halt my righteous quest and claim my prize of victory. I thrash and swing my sword at the orb, and then, just when I think I delivered the final blow... I can't tell you how frustrating that is.
It was
and
on
what's even
level
worse,
intensity
when you
9.
die, the game will automatically lower the difficulty a bit, and you can't set it back to what you had it at, as if the game is adding insult to injury. However, this is actually bittersweet for me. Bitter because now I have to completely start over from the beginning if I want to complete Classic mode on the highest difficulty. But see, this is also why it's sweet, because now you know you have to give everything you have at defeating this enormous task, but when you finally do so, you have the sweet satisfaction of doing just that. Other familiar modes return, such as All-Star, event matches, target practice, home run contests, and multi-man smash. I thought it was cool that you could now play co-op in Classic and All-Star modes. Target practice is very different, and now you have to up the percentage of 2 bombs, hit them at the right angle and force, and try to break the targets with the explosions. Home run contest is still the same though, but that's a good thing. You know, it's funny. When I played Melee, I thought Fox with his blaster was the best for this mode. Then I found out Yoshi with his down aerial was much better. But now, I'm pretty sure Ganondorf takes the cake.
Is there anybody who's better? Or is there a better combination? It's just single. I know there's you can like co-op.
Yeah. Maybe in Ultimate, it's like Ganondorf and Ice Climbers, or 2 Ganondorfs. Maybe
one new
Shulk?
mode is called Smash
I'm
Tour.
not sure.
In this mode, you and 3 others will move
Or
around what
Lucario,
basically looks like a game board, trying to obtain all the checkpoints, collecting helpful items and characters, and then battling in the end with all your collected fighters to determine a winner. There's more strategy in this mode than I initially thought, and it is quite fun, but I actually prefer Smash Run on the 3DS to this mode, and I wish Smash Run was available in the Wii U version. Another new mode called Special Orders is a fun addition. Here, you can choose Master Orders or Crazy Orders. Master Orders are special battles you can take on to receive prizes. You only have to play one if you want, but each battle will cost you coins, and more coins if the difficulty is high.
This is kind of similar
in Crazy
to like
Orders,
Spirit
though,
Battles.
it takes a whopping 5,000 coins to just participate, or if you have a Crazy Orders pass, you can use one of those. Here, you will take on special battles like in Master Orders, but in order to receive the prizes, you not only have to win the matches, but you have to battle and win against Crazy Hand at the end. You get to determine when you want to battle Crazy Hand, and the amount of damage you took from the previous battles determines your HP you get when you start to battle Crazy Hand. More damage means more HP, but more battles won means Crazy Hand will become more and more difficult, so there's quite a bit of strategy to it, which just makes this mode even more fun. Another new feature is the ability to use amiibos. If you have an amiibo figure, you can add it to the battle. When you first start, your amiibo will be very weak. It will grow, however, in levels every time it battles. It will max out at level 50, and when it does, watch out! My Link amiibo is much more intelligent than any level 9 CPU character. You can change up its movesets, as well as feeding it equipment which can give boosts to its attack, defense, and speed stats, as well as giving it special bonuses, like starting with a Bob-omb in hand at the beginning of every match. The amiibo element is a nice feature, and an excellent sparring partner if you don't have anyone to battle at the time.
Do you still have that amiibo?
You can customize any character actually, which I thought was a good addition. The graphics are beautiful. HD Smash looks so good. Everything from the stages to the attacks all look detailed and vibrant. The controls are just as good as they've been in the previous Smash titles. I really wanted to get a GameCube Smash bundle, but at the time they were basically sold out. I thought this would be a big problem for me and my brother, since the GameCube controller is our preferred method for Smash, but ever since we started playing Smash on the 3DS, we've gotten used to that control scheme, which is very similar to the GameCube, and now using the gamepad doesn't really bother me too much anymore. I still think the GameCube controller is the best, but the gamepad and or the Classic Controller Pro is a very close second.
You still have this
You can
one.
even play the Wii U version on your 3DS.
Landmaster.
Just pair them up and you're ready to go. You can also import custom characters from the 3DS to the Wii U, and vice versa. There are many collectibles and unlockables such as trophies, music tracks, stages, and characters. I liked how now there is more of an incentive to collect trophies, because you can set them on display, and if you want to finish, you'll have to try hard to find them. Like in Brawl, there's a huge wall of specific challenges to complete. It's really fun, but at the same time can be very frustrating because some of these tasks can be brutally difficult, mostly the ones that had you complete specific event matches. Online mode has never been more fun. The game will now save your win-loss ratio into a percentage, which when betting on players in spectate mode, you have a better chance at determining the winner. It would be better if it also told you what the win-loss record actually was.
I like betting on
Still, it's better than
matches.
Brawl's
It's
version.
fun.
Battling online is such a blast. However, I really don't like the rule that if the game determines if you are targeting another player relentlessly, you might be temporarily banned from the network. I'm sure that only applies to battles with more than 2 people, but come on, how is that determined? Does the game notice it? Or is it people at Nintendo monitoring the matches? It just seems a bit ridiculous. There are many new items to help you in battle, and the Smash Ball is arguably the best one to turn the tide. Some characters' final smashes have been changed completely from Brawl, like Luigi's and Kirby's, which I have to say, for Kirby, this is a huge plus. His cooking final smash did low damage and was easy to avoid. Anyway, most final smashes are the same, however they have been seriously downgraded in the amount of damage they do. In Brawl, with most characters, if you performed a final smash, it was almost a guaranteed KO, but in this game, the damage amount has been reduced. I remember in Brawl, Link's final smash would do 81% damage, but in this one, it only does 62%. I guess they toned everyone's down so it would balance things out, but I still don't like it. One of the things I was really looking forward to was being able to draw your own custom stages with the gamepad. However, it's disappointing. It really sucks how you can't grab a drawn piece and move or rotate it. You can only delete it. Like, really? Even Microsoft PowerPoint has more tools than this. Sometimes it can be really difficult making a grabbable ledge, and sometimes I just want to place a standard platform down, but I can't. The only stage items and or elements the game gives you are springs, cannons, moving platforms, and magma, all of which are nice, and don't get me wrong, it is fun to create your own stages, but I wish it gave you static platforms as well. Hopefully some DLC will give us more options for enhanced creativity. You can save replays of matches and stadium events, but it really wasn't cool that I lost some replays due to a game update. I mean, come on, why did it have to do that? A huge annoyance was that in event matches, there is no retry option if you lose the match. You have to sit through the loading screens, which, by the way, can be pretty long in some areas, reselect the event, and try again. Why can't there be a retry option? It would save quite a lot of time. One thing I really liked was the AI intelligence. You can definitely tell it's more advanced. A good example being when I'm trying to meteor smash them as they're trying to get back to the platforms, they will usually air dodge. Usually. As opposed to Brawl's AI, they would usually end up dead, which was nice because of the points I received, but in all honesty, it needed improvement, and that's exactly what happened in this game. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U is a fantastic game. Beautiful graphics, great controls, many different and fun game modes to choose from. Classic mode is better than ever in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure I knew it wouldn't hit, but I just wanted to like do
Classic and
something
All-Star
fancy.
modes. Pac-Man, Mega Man, Sonic, and Mario finally get to duke it out, which is really cool. 8-player Smash is crazy and a blast. Adding amiibos was a cool idea. Many items to collect and unlock. Drawing your own stages gives you much more freedom, and online mode has been polished up for a better experience overall. However, there were more disappointments than I thought there would be. Having no retry option in the events was frustrating and annoying. I didn't like how the game update erased some of my replays. I wish the custom stage builder had pre-built static platforms. Sometimes the game sat on long loading times, and my biggest complaint is the clones. There's more than ever now. And what happened to Lucas? I hate that they took him out. Ness just doesn't feel the same. I want Lucas back. I really hope they add him in DLC. If they're bringing Mewtwo back, please bring Lucas back as well. Overall though, this is an amazing game. I know that in Brawl, people complained about how slow it felt compared to Melee. I was initially one of them, but I'm glad this game doesn't feel as slow. Sure, it's not as fast as Melee, but it is faster than Brawl, which heightens the excitement. I'm sure many people are wondering if I like this game better than Brawl. Honestly, I don't know. When I reviewed Brawl, I had been playing it for a long time, more time than I have been playing this Smash, and I have years and years of experience with Brawl.
Best stage.
As far as content-wise goes, it trumps Brawl.
good.
But as far as the overall fun factor goes, I can't say for sure right now. I will say, at the time of this review, it's probably tied with Brawl. However, I believe it has a very good chance of becoming my favorite Smash title with time. I've been looking forward to this game ever since Nintendo mentioned it, and now that I finally have it, it's going to be difficult for me to put the controller down, as I can see myself enjoying every bit of it for years to come.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
So much fun.
Yeah. Ready for the next one?
Let me check my phone first.
Yeah,
Why?
what time is it?
Why?
Oh, if we don't leave now, we're gonna miss the movie.
Oh, come on. We have time for one more. Let's
No.
play.
No, we have to go.
Come on, we've been playing for like 3 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
No,
what?
you did
It's awesome.
You did this last time and we missed the beginning of the movie.
Oh, I know, but I promise it won't happen this time.
No,
Come
it's
on,
gonna
come on.
happen again. Come on.
No,
we
it's
have to go.
go.
Come on.
Come on. No!
No, come on. We need to go now.
No,
Let's
we're
go.
going.
Let's go.
No, please, just one more! Smash Bros! Smash Bros! Smash Bros!
Get over here!
This game gets a 4.5 out of 5 with the title of Epic.
Oh, that was a long review. Oh yeah, there's bloopers.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun live skit to do.
I think that's my longest review. It was over 16 minutes.
Wow.
Oh, you did this last time. We missed
The lighting
beginning
is
of the
different.
movie. We're
Yeah,
gonna
because it took
go
forever.
now.
Yeah.
No, I promise we won't miss it this time. Come on, let's
Come on,
go.
I really want to see
Go.
what you did at the
I
beginning.
don't
of
want
the
to miss this.
movie. We're gonna do that now?
Oh no.
What's wrong?
Okay. All right.
Are you recording this?
Yes.
Bloopers.
Yay.
Okay, come on. Let's go.
Don't laugh. Oh no, it's okay. I promise we have enough time. Let's go.
No,
One
you
more
did
match.
this last time.
No.
We missed the beginning
No,
of the
we have to
movie.
go now.
Stop laughing.
You're smiling. You can't be smiling during this. Look at the lighting.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
I'm trying so hard.
We
So
will
many
not
hours.
miss it. I swear. Come on,
Dude,
one more.
you
No,
said that
come
last
on,
time.
we
Let's
need
just
to
go.
go. You do this face all the time, and I can't help but laugh. You do it on a regular basis.
Can you like blur your eyes so you don't look at me?
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll look cross-eyed.
No, you won't look
Sorry.
cross-eyed. What a
That's
good
really
match.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like you're like echoing me.
Yeah,
I
that
want
one.
to be like you. I want to be cool.
What did I say?
I want to be like you. I want to be cool.
Yeah, stupid.
Wait, can you go back? I missed that.
Nice game. That's stupid.
You're like you're like echoing me.
I want to be like you. I want to be cool.
Whew.
Oh, nice game.
Ooh, that was a
nice
good
game.
match.
Stupid.
Nice game. That's stupid.
Nice game. That's stupid.
Oh, that was fun. That was such a long review.
Can you scroll up? We probably missed a lot of comments. Which one? Which one?
They never updated the stage builder, which was stupid.
Yeah.
I feel like we got the beta mode.
Yeah. I think the stage builder was just kind of a thing they slapped together in like a couple weeks and didn't really flesh it out at all. Yeah, there are quite a few stages in that game that never came back to Smash Ultimate. That Star Fox stage, the Donkey Kong Country Return stage, Miiverse stage. I think there's a few others. There were some stages on the 3DS that never made it over to the Ultimate as well.
I'm watching myself play just in the regular footage, and it's just so bad.
Oh.
It's so bad. I got a lot better in Ultimate. I never got to like any kind of high tier. My brain just doesn't work that way. You're way better in Smash than I am.
I actually just played today, and I feel like my skill has dropped significantly.
Well, when we were in our prime,
yeah,
like you were just on a different plane than I was. I just can't.
Well, yeah, because I
can't get that creative with it.
I was really into like watching tournaments and studying like top level players, like looking up. I mean, I wasn't like super into it, but I would look up, how to do things, and I would practice a lot. But yeah, I didn't go to too many tournaments to like really develop my skill.
I don't think I really ever looked up how to get good, like really good. I just played for fun, and when we played Brawl all the time, we always had items on.
Yeah.
And then when Smash 4 and Ultimate came out, everybody was just like playing just 1v1 Final Destination, no items, and like there's so much more to it that I enjoy. But like I feel like the community now is you're either super really good or you don't play at all. And that's how I am. I don't really play it anymore. It's not that fun. I don't want to play against computer. I don't want to play online because everybody's just like insanely good. And
well, if you play online with like more than 2 people, it'll probably be that about that level of skill between all players.
Well, plus there's so many other games I want to play.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
When was the last time you went to a Smash tournament? It's like 5 years?
It would have been back then. Probably like 3 or 4 years.
I swear, every time you go to one, you would say
on.
you won.
I think it was not every time. I think the last time I went was in 2020 or 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they kind of stopped the local ones during COVID.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of a big reason why I stopped going. Yeah, they definitely didn't have any like live local ones.
Yeah.
During then.
Mr. Toad the Gamer, it's hard to find people just to enjoy the game. It's full of tryhards now. That's how I feel, and it's unfortunate.
Well, there are like in Ultimate, there's you can go online and like join like a lobby that has like 4-player matches or 3-player matches or whatever. Just do like casual games.
I haven't played it in probably a good 2 years at least. Okay. All right, let's get to the next one. Cooking Mama.
Cooking Mama.
It's time for the Cooking Mama Cook-Off Review for the Wii. I've always had a level of interest in this game when it first came out, but I figured it was another one of those restaurateur games you can play for free on the internet or download from an app store. However, this game is not that deep, I guess you could say. You don't manage a restaurant or even set foot in one. All you do is cook different types of recipes from various countries. Have you guys ever played any of the WarioWare games, or seen my WarioWare Smooth Moves review? This game feels similar to that, except without the frills and humor of WarioWare. Basically, this game feels like a huge minigame. In
What do
single-player
you mean by
mode,
that?
you get to choose from a selection
I
of
honestly
dishes
wasn't listening.
to
What?
cook. This game feels similar to that, except without the frills and humor of WarioWare.
The
Basically,
frills
this
and
game
humor
feels
of
like a
Wario.
huge mini-game.
Frills.
Frills?
In single-player
Yeah.
mode, you
That's
get
a-
to choose from a selection of
weird
dishes
choice
to
of
cook.
word.
When you choose one, you'll go through each
It's
step
a
to
good
create it.
choice.
You'll cut and shred and stir and set different temperatures to create each recipe. While on a step, you
Like,
have a short
no
amount of time to
spectacle.
complete it, but you also have
I
to do it
guess, yeah.
correctly, of course, to receive a better score in the end. There are certain steps where if you mess up once or even multiple times, you can still receive a really good score if you at least finish the step before the time runs out. Before you move on to a step, you'll receive instructions on how to perform it correctly. However, some of these steps can be vague, and you might not understand fully of what or when to perform an action until it's too late and you mess up the step. Most of the steps are simple enough to understand, but when you're learning it for the first time and have a very limited time limit, it can be confusing. When you complete the full recipe, your final score will be tallied and you'll be graded based on that score. After that, you'll be awarded with a new recipe to complete. There's a mode where you get to compete against the computer, which is in the form of another player from a certain country around the world. It's kind of fun, but the computers seem to never make a mistake. When you finish with a dish, both scores are tallied to determine a winner. I'm not sure if it matters if you win or lose in this mode, because after the scores, the computer player will give you an item to decorate your kitchen with. Wouldn't you think you would have to win to receive the prize? What's the incentive to win if you're just going to get the prize regardless of the outcome? Playing against a friend is much more fun than the two previous modes. You don't receive anything after
No
completing a dish,
participation
except voting
trophies
rights,
here.
which is better than any in-game prize. The graphics are good for this type of game. However, I noticed that many of the ingredients used for meat dishes, mainly seafood, looked pretty realistic for a game where the overall graphics look cartoony. Not saying it's bad,
Yeah,
just
that
seemed
is
out of
kinda weird.
place, and sometimes just gross. The controls are good for the most part, however some actions seem too unresponsive. A lot of the time the accuracy was low, and you had to really point and move in the correct ways so the sensors could pick up your actions when you needed them to. I've heard the DS Cooking Mama games are better for these reasons. There's not much to do other than those three modes, except you can look around your kitchen at the gifts your computer friends gave you. Cooking Mama Cook-Off is an okay game. Good graphics for this type of game, mostly good controls, many different recipes to learn and try out, and competing against your friends is
What
fun.
were the American
However, the
dishes?
game feels very
I'm-
shallow. I can't believe this
Probably
was
like
$50 at
burger
the
and
time
hot
of its
dog and
release.
stuff
No
like that.
way is it worth that. Like I said before, it feels like one giant minigame. This is definitely a game for kids, which isn't a bad thing, but for older players, I feel like there's no real reason to play this unless you just want to have on record that you played this game, or unless you just love cooking. There might be more incentive to play if there was an online mode where you could compete with one another, but since it's a local-only multiplayer game, I don't see myself coming back to it. I'd say it's a good game for young kids to play with their parents. Everyone else, though, you'll
Yeah.
probably want to play something else. This game gets a 2.75 out of 5 with a title of mediocre.
We're coming up to maybe it's this one. We're very very near the reviews where I start doing live scene hints.
Mm.
I just can't remember which one exactly. Are they real life recipes? I have no idea. I would
Probably.
maybe like the base structure, but I don't remember like too many seasonings to put in. It was just the technique of cooking.
Yeah, that there was like a babysitting mama, and you put TJ Ball for me is saying like that babysitting mama had like the plush baby toy that you put the Wiimote in.
Oh, that's right.
That is it's kind of weird.
I don't ever want to play that. That'll give me PTSD of when I was a freshman in high school.
Oh, man.
And I had to take
same.
care of that stupid robot baby over the weekend. I don't know if you guys ever done that before, but if you ever take health in high school, they usually have you take care of a robot baby or at least an egg.
Yeah, an egg or a sack of flour or something.
And the robot baby was terrible because it was programmed to
man.
cry pretty much every 30 minutes whenever you have
I
to take
hated
care of
that.
it, and really it was just a scare tactic as a part of sex ed.
Worked on me.
And it was horrible.
Yeah, it was. I had it for only like 24 hours, less time than he did, but it was just such a pain for me, and it was so unfair because my my wife partner, all the students had to like proposed to another student, and we were partners in it. So my wife, she said, "Oh, my baby was like totally well behaved. He was so she was so cute. She almost never cried, but like for me, it was like so constant. I think they deliberately upped the difficulty for me. I think they thought I could take it. I couldn't.
No, it was awful.
I got like a B+ in it.
I didn't have a partner. I was a single parent.
Yeah.
It was awful. And then I was supposed to turn it in Monday, but for whatever reason, I didn't go to school that day, and I think Mom had me stay home for some legitimate reason. I had to be there for something. But then
Like
I went
a phone call or something?
I have no idea. What is this, like 20 years ago or something? And actually, I think it was about 20 years ago. I went back Tuesday and I handed it in, and I had a note and everything. Everything was legitimate. And I gave it to the teacher, and he dropped me a full letter grade for the project.
Wow.
Like I was gonna get a B+, I think, and he gave me a C+.
Wow,
like,
that's BS.
It's not my fault, and I only got a B+ because, like, if you have the robot baby, you have also this bracelet with this little metallic. It looks like a coin, almost like a battery, and
you touch it to the baby to let it know that you're there.
You have to do the right motions with it while the coin is touching it to let it register. And I could not get it to register on a few occasions, and it was such a pain. But anyway, let's not talk about that anymore. I hate it. Apparently, we're the only ones who had that project.
Really?
Nobody else is.
No one even had to take care of it.
Oh wait, no. Williams Physical Media did. We had those robot babies in high school. Thankfully, that was an elective, and I didn't have to.
Oh.
You didn't have to take it.
Oh no, it was mandatory for me.
Yeah, I had to take it.
It was part of my mandatory health class.
All right, let's get to the next review.
It's time for the Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands review for the Wii. This version of the game is different than if you played it on the 360, PS3, or PC. While they may have the same title, the story modes are different. In this game, the setting takes place in between the Sands of Time and Warrior Within, and you start out by trying to escape a sinking kingdom. This is the tutorial of the game, and once you finish, you are magically warped to a hidden kingdom that has fallen victim to an evil power. The genie that brought you here says if the prince can defeat the evil, the kingdom will become his to rule. If you've never played a Prince of Persia game, the concept is to explore a given area by using the prince's speed and agility to perform semi, and sometimes seemingly impossible acrobatic moves to get from point A to point B. You'll also encounter enemies, and you'll sometimes use your gymnastic skills to defeat them. As you progress through the game, you'll come across shrines which will give you new abilities, such as the Spirit Hook, which allows you to...
Was that semi for the impossible or for the acrobatic?
I don't remember what I said.
You said... Yeah, go back.
You'll also encounter enemies, seemingly impossible acrobatic moves, with speed and agility to perform semi, and sometimes seemingly impossible acrobatic moves to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, so is that a
You'll also
semi-acrobatic or semi-impossible acrobatic skills?
Probably semi-impossible.
Okay. Because it doesn't exactly... It's not exactly clear.
Oh, should I delete the review?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Use your gymnastic skills to defeat them. As you progress through the game, you'll come across shrines which will give you new abilities, such as the Spirit Hook, which allows you to create an ethereal handle on specific plates throughout the kingdom, which helps you reach new territories. Or like the Whirlwind, which can be used to give you a boost to also help you reach otherwise impossible areas. These powers will be upgraded in the way that you can place them almost anywhere, which gives the player more freedom, yes, but also makes the game more difficult, because before, when you saw an empty plate, you knew you had to create a Spirit Hook there. But now, that guide, so to speak, is gone, and you have to figure out where to put the Spirit Hook and Whirlwind on your own, which gives more of a challenge to the player, which I like. Instead of having the Sands of Time to reverse a small amount of time, such as if you accidentally fall to your death, You instead can collect 3 Jin Souls to create a life orb. If you die, 1 life orb will be taken up, but you'll immediately start back in a safe area at the point just before you died. This is a nice feature, and Jin Souls are quite plentiful, so it's not too difficult to create life orbs. However, that doesn't mean the game is a forgiving cakewalk. There are many instances where the difficulty can be very high, and if you're not careful enough, you'll suffer the consequences. If you die without any life orbs in stock, you'll be revived at the last fountain you drank from, or at least passed by. There are many achievements to unlock by performing certain tasks, which gives the player more to do other than just completing the main quest, which is nice.
M-O-A-R,
when you complete a quest or defeat an enemy, you'll gain experience points. Once you have enough, you'll gain a new skill, such as a tornado attack, or an upgrade for a skill, like being able to absorb more damage from heavy attacks. You can also break open special blue and red chests to receive lots of experience. The graphics are great. This is one of the best looking games I've seen for the Wii as far as realistic graphics go. The controls are great as well. You'll use the Wiimote Nunchuck combo, using the A, B, C, and Z buttons to interact with your surroundings, and swinging the Wiimote and Nunchuck for combat use. You'll also use the reticle from the Wiimote to solve puzzles. The camera seemed better than Sands of Time in the sense that it seemed easier to tell where you were in correlation to an object. It wasn't perfect though, as sometimes the depth perception was difficult to tell. One new feature that I liked was that when you were hanging or standing on a ledge, or climbing a wall or a pillar, a guidance line would show you where you could go next, instead of guessing if you could make the leap or not. It also helped you in determining the depth perception, which was very nice. What wasn't nice were glitches. There didn't seem to be as many as Sands of Time, however they still made themselves known. Here's a graphical glitch. And that's just a small one. Here's a huge one where the floor has become nothing but a bottomless pit.
Oh, wow.
And here it is again with spinning blades that look like they're coming from nowhere. Here's one where the game freezes up.
Dang.
Lovely sound. And the biggest and baddest glitch I found was yet again a game-breaking glitch. So right here, this doorway for 1 shouldn't be open, and 2, I don't think this should happen. However, once it brings me back, I'm in this room that I wasn't supposed to be able to get in because the door is supposed to be locked. Now it's locked, but because I can't open it, I try to go back on a different route. The route I'm trying to take has taken me to the point I'm trying to get to once before, but when I first took this route, this spot right here where I have to wall jump to ascend, the wall crumbled down, as you can see. So now I'm at this part again trying to wall jump my way up, but the game won't let me, even though it looks like I can, because the game registered that the wall fell down, and so there's basically nothing I can wall jump on. And because I can't wall jump or go back the way I came, I am completely stuck. I tried resetting the game, but it brings me back to the nearest fountain, which is located between the locked door and the crumbled wall. There's no way out. I had to start all over and create a new file, and, like Sands of Time, I lost 3 hours of gameplay. It may not seem like much, but you shouldn't have to lose any due to a glitch of this magnitude. I even checked the disc to see if there are any scratches on it, but no, it's clean as a whistle.
How did this happen
What
for
is it with
2
these
different
games? Why do I
Prince of
keep
Persia
losing
games?
the
That's
first 3 hours
crazy.
of gameplay?
That's crazy.
Anyway, the sound design was better than Sands of Time, however I still had to adjust the levels so I could hear what the characters were saying. I thought it was really cool how the 1992 Prince of Persia game was added for you to play, as well as bonus maps for added fun. Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands is a really fun game. Great graphics and controls, unlocking achievements was a nice bonus, I really liked the guidance line, the enemies gave a good challenge but weren't overwhelming, and the prince's powers made for some good puzzle-solving experiences. However, the camera wasn't perfect. I wish the guidance line instantly showed you where you could go, because sometimes you couldn't wait to see or else you'd get hurt, and those glitches definitely weren't helpful, especially that nightmarish game-breaking glitch. Overall, though, it's still a great game. Hopefully, if you play it, you won't experience those glitches, because the game offers a lot to enjoy. This game gets a 4.25 out of 5, with the title of Awesome.
So, which is your favorite Prince of Persia out of those 3?
Probably this one.
Oh. Huh.
I think this is the first review with a live scene hint. I think? Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I know where that is. Yeah, the Luigi death stare.
I sounded quite tired in this review. I don't remember if I was, but sometimes it happens. It's so weird how both games had game-breaking glitches. I can forgive, textures and floors that disappears, if they reappear again. But game breaking, come on.
Yeah.
It happened again. Like, sounds funny. When I did my Zombie U review, I didn't know of the term game breaking.
Oh, really?
No, I knew what it was, but in Zombie U, my first playthrough, there was a game breaking one.
What term did you use in that one?
I think I just said something where it was like I couldn't progress anymore.
Oh,
or something
okay.
Like that. And so it was some kind of glitch where a locked door. I unlocked it, and you're supposed to go through immediately, but I backed up, and the door became locked again.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They didn't test for that?
No.
That's crazy. Someone asked, was this review made around the same time you had the full-time editing job?
Yes. Yeah. This review, Smash Bros. I was a full-time editor during this time, and that could have been why I was sounding tired. And I will say, my level of interest to create reviews is starting to diminish at this time because of what I did for my career.
Is Mario Kart 8 seriously going to be 10 years old? How time goes by so fast. Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh yeah, isn't it this Friday they turn off the servers for Wii U?
I think it's like sometime first week of April. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So long. All right. Here we go.
Start your engines. Let's go.
It's time for the Mario Kart 8 review for the Wii U. This is my 6th year anniversary review. I'm sorry to say that I missed my 5th year anniversary. Well, because I just straight up forgot about it. But here's the 6th year, and I would just like to say once again thank you to everyone who has supported me and my reviews. Well, here we go again with another Mario Kart game. What can be said about this series that hasn't already been said? Well, other than the new gameplay gimmicks and mechanics in this version, it's basically the same thing as its predecessors. Now that's not a bad thing, so let's see why. The menus have the familiar layout in where you pick the mode of racing you want, character select screen, customizable vehicles, and then the tracks to race on.
Oh, so
when
few.
you start racing,
Yeah.
you'll notice if you hold an item behind you and snag a second item box, it won't give you a second item for your inventory, making it feel like you're back playing
I forget,
Super
did you
Mario
ever
Kart on
review
the
Deluxe?
SNES. At
Nope.
first I really
Oh.
didn't like it, because who doesn't love to hold 6 red shells to inflict fear into those who dare not pass you? But now all you get is one item, so you have to think more strategically than before. And see, this could be a good thing, because now players don't have the option to bombard other players with an arsenal of Mushroom Kingdom items. I'm guessing the developers did this so players would have to rely more on their skills to win, rather than winning with items. If that's the case, then I like it, but still, when you're so used to having 2 items and then boom,
Yeah, and then
one item,
they
it just
eventually
doesn't
added
seem
2
right.
items.
Yeah.
It was nice how one of the new items, the Super Horn,
2
is
items is
specifically
more
made to
fun.
counter
Yeah.
the dreaded blue shell. I wouldn't say it's common to pick one up, but it's not rare. You can use it to hit opponents or take out bananas, green, and red shells too, but if you can hang on to it in first place, the only thing you really have to worry about is getting hit by lightning. Another thing about the items is the balancing. You know, how if you're in first, second, or third place, you'll mostly receive green shells, bananas, or coins, rather than red shells, stars, or lightning if you're lagging behind. One complaint I have with it is that if you're in first, it seems you'll receive coins more than any other item. You can only hold a total of 10 coins, which is a good thing because the more coins you hold, the faster your vehicle moves. But when you already have 10 coins and you keep getting coins from item boxes, it can be a pain because in my opinion, I'd rather receive defensive items like green shells and bananas when I'm in first. Case in point, this example right here.
Oh no. Oh no.
And another thing is, if you're lucky enough, once in a great while you'll receive a crazy 8 when you're in third or even second place. What is up with that? The other noticeable feature is now
Yeah,
most
wow, you
tracks
got
have
me third.
anti-gravity sections where players can drive upwards or turn on their side or turn
I
upside
don't
down
think I've
without
ever
falling
gotten
off the
it
track.
first. I have
Not to
gotten
say
it
they can
second.
go anywhere on the
It's
track,
probably
but this new
impossible to
feature is
do
pretty
that.
fun. However, I find it to be a little lackluster because when your character is driving upside down or on a 90-degree wall, the camera still stays behind your character so it doesn't really feel like you're upside down as much as I feel it should. It's not a huge issue, but this is one of the, if not the biggest new feature of this game, and I feel like it wasn't played up to expectations. It is cool though, when you bump into another racer while on anti-gravity
best tracks.
sections, you'll both receive a speed boost. The same thing happens when you touch an anti-gravity post. I like this mechanic because instead of slowing you down and possibly taking your mindset out of the speedy race, I feel like it can actually enhance the overall atmosphere. Motorcycles and dirt bikes make a return, however I didn't like that you couldn't perform wheelies on them. I'm guessing it's because the developers thought it would give them an unfair advantage, but it's still disappointing. The tracks
And, yeah,
themselves are
that's
very
exactly why.
creative.
Yeah.
My favorites would have to be Sunshine Airport, Mount
Wheelies were
Wario,
really
Cloud Top
unbalanced,
Cruise,
weren't they?
and Thwomp Ruins.
Yeah.
And out of those, my favorite is Mount Wario.
Yeah,
I
Mount
love
Wario's
tracks
so
that don't
good.
loop and instead have checkpoints on a linear path. Plus, the concept of this track, starting at the top of a mountain and racing your way down in an ice cave to a skiing slalom, and at the end being greeted by hundreds of adoring fans,
Yeah, it's so great.
just so cool. After you finish a race, you can watch a highlight reel of your performance. You can even watch the whole race if you want to, and either speed up or slow down the video to your liking so you can witness every Luigi death stare. You can save up to 6 races to rewatch any time, or even share them over the internet for others to view via a new edition called Mario Kart TV. The graphics have never looked better in a Mario Kart game than this one. HD really brings out the details, lighting, shading, anything aesthetically pleasing in every track. The controls are spot on. Like in Mario Kart Wii, you can once again use the Wiimote with Wii Wheel to steer, or just simply use the gamepad or a controller with an analog stick. Battle mode has been changed up, but definitely not for the better, I'm sad to say. Instead of trying to pop opponents' balloons in an arena-like area, you now try to do the same thing on a few pre-selected racing tracks.
Oh
Which
yeah, I
just
remember that. That
does
was so
previous
lame.
Mario
So
Battle
dumb.
mode.
Yeah.
Because for one reason, I feel like it takes too long to reach your opponent, and then when you finally do so, you still have to aim your weapon at them, unless of course it's a red shell. But still, if you miss, you're most likely going to have to go all the way around the track just for another shot at them.
Jeez.
You can pivot and or make
What were
a
they
U-turn with your
thinking?
cart, but still, the arena-like stages were much better.
I guess they were
Having a
thinking more
time
of a
limit isn't
cat
that
and
fun,
mouse
because
kind of
now if you're
thing,
down
like,
by 1 point,
they're
your opponents can
constantly-
easily stay away
Yeah,
from you.
I
It can
guess,
almost
but-
be impossible to catch them, let alone hit them. The fast-paced battle mode action you
Maybe
loved
they
in
just
previous
didn't have
Mario
time
Kart games
to,
is not found in this
to create
version.
battle
Online
mode
mode is fun,
stages.
however I think it was a very poor decision to
I
have players
guess,
only be
but-
able to choose from 3 pre-selected tracks every time a new race is about to start. You can also choose a random slot, but still, why give us this very limited selection? Why can't we choose any course like in Mario Kart Wii or Mario Kart 7? I really didn't like this move. Nintendo finally gives Mario Kart some DLC. As of this review, you can get up to 16 new tracks with a handful of new characters, including Link from The Legend of Zelda. How cool is this? There's even a Zelda-themed track. It's the same for Villagers and Isabelle with an Animal
I
Crossing
love the
track.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
why
so great.
Captain Falcon isn't a character, because there are 2 F-Zero themed tracks. You can have your Mii look like Captain Falcon if you have a Captain Falcon amiibo, which, by the way, you can do that if you have any of these amiibos, like Link here. Anyway, having DLC is awesome, because having the standard 32 tracks in a Mario Kart game seemed too low. Plus, new characters and vehicles are awesome. You can even have Mario drive a Mercedes. One of the best things to happen in a Mario Kart game is for the first time, 200cc has become available. Talk about fast! You'll most likely need to use your brakes in certain levels and be
I love
very
Rainbow
careful
Road.
not to fall off
Ooh,
in others.
SNES Rainbow
I've
Road
wanted
is so fun.
200cc for a long time, and now having it makes this game even better. Now, even though the DLC improves the overall fun factor of the game, I can't put DLC into consideration for the score at the end because this was not released with the game. You can see for yourselves that DLC is awesome and shouldn't deter you from picking up this game, and yes, I would give this game a higher score if I was counting it, but I'm rating this game based on how it was on day 1 out of the box. Mario Kart 8 is a great game. Beautiful graphics, sharp controls, great track designs, the Super Horn is a great and long overdue item to counter the blue shell, the anti-gravity feature is a neat idea, I liked how you wouldn't lose your item and would return to the race quickly if you fell off of a track, and only take a penalty of up to 3 coins, I liked how item boxes and coins would respawn at a much faster rate as compared to previous Mario Kart games, great music, racing others in online mode is sweet, and having DLC keeps things fresh
Yeah,
and
oh,
boosts
I
the
like-
overall fun.
I love that.
However, I didn't
that
like that you can
track.
only have 1 item at a time, and I didn't like it that coins seemed to be the most common item you received while in first place. I didn't like that you couldn't perform wheelies on bikes. Battle mode was a big disappointment, and only being able to choose from 3, 4 if you want to get technical, pre-selected tracks in online mode was disappointing. Overall though, you will enjoy this game because although it changes up some of the mechanics that you've gotten used to from previous Mario Kart games, it doesn't take away the bulk of the fun, and it even feels fresh due to the change-ups this great game has. This game gets a 4 out of 5 with the title of Awesome.
I have a question. What score would you have given it if you did include the?
Probably 4.25.
Okay. That's the same score that Mario Kart Wii got, right? 4.25?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello?
Your word is ambidextrous.
Do you remember this?
Ambidextrous. AMBIDEXTROUS. Ambidextrous.
That is correct.
Oh.
Your word is of.
Q?
You? Oh, TF2. Oh, wait. Oh, Call of Duty. Oh, okay. Duty. Did anybody guess correctly what the game was based off of that hint?
I think one person did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mr. Toad, I wish there were 200cc exclusive courses. That really showed off
That would have
the
been
good use of 200cc.
that would be awesome
Mhm.
because most of those stages they feel terrible to play on 200cc.
Excite Bike is really fun.
That's true. Yeah,
on that
you go flying off of those jumps.
And if you're good enough, SNES Rainbow Road is really fun.
Mm. I remember first seeing that hint and just thinking, what?
I don't know. I have a wide spectrum of easy and difficult hints. I think the most difficult one was
The Leet Speak one?
that. Possibly, I was gonna say Smash Ultimate.
Considering how well the original game sold, the best-selling Wii U title, it very likely prevented the system from going down as one of the biggest failures. Well, wait, it prevented the system? Well, I mean, the system did fail. That's, I mean, it's not really any dispute about that.
I don't know if I wouldn't say it bombed, but it failed.
Yeah, it definitely failed. Like, the only other console Nintendo sold less of was the Virtual Boy.
Man. Even more than the DSi?
Well, I think, well, I don't know, but like
How about the-
DS and DSi all are like
okay.
one.
What about the Game Boy Micro?
That is considered like of Game Boy Advance. They put all those in the same. Well, I mean, would you say the OLED should count the OLED Switch different than
No.
the sales of the regular
No.
Switch? Then exactly. So all of the versions of the Wii U all as one, all the versions of Game Boy Advance as one. You know, DS.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how they count it all. Oh, William says that you're very creative with the hints.
Oh, thank you. I want to get back into doing live scene hints more often. Because the text versions are just kind of an easy out, especially when I'm trying to get the review up like that. But I'm going to try to be better at creating more live scene ones. They're way more fun.
They are pretty fun, yeah.
Okay, let's get to Call of Duty, the only Call of Duty game I've ever played, even up to right now.
I think I played one other, like at college, like, you know, in someone's dorm room, and I was terrible at it.
It's time for the Call of Duty Finest Hour review for the GameCube. Believe it or not, this not only was the first Call of Duty I ever played, but up until this review, it is the only Call of Duty game I've ever played. I've never been too interested in military FPSs, but since this franchise is so successful, I wanted to see how it all started. Now, this isn't the actual first Call of Duty game published, but it is the first console version. The game takes place in World War II, and when you start up a new game file, you are inserted into the middle of a battle between Russian and Nazi forces. The first mission is basically the tutorial of the game, but don't think it's so forgiving because you just began. Keeping your head low, listening to your commanders, and reacting very quickly is the only way to keep yourself alive. The game is filled with a variety of missions, like taking out a Nazi bunker, retrieving Axis information, and blowing up an enemy airfield are only some of the objectives. As you move through your mission, you will meet up with another ally, and once your mission is complete, the next level, so to speak, is now taking control of that new person with a new task. This formula continues like this until you move on to a different geographical battle. Every transition between battles consists either in-game cutscenes or actual World War II footage, overlaid with historic information and mission objectives. I like these real cutscenes. It gives you a better sense of what the war was like, and makes you feel more involved when playing the game. As I stated before, each mission isn't the same. Sure, the main objective of staying alive is of course there, but how you complete each mission varies. Like here, I'm supposed to reach the top of that bunker and take down the Nazi flag that flies over it. I have to avoid machine gun fire and infantry soldiers by taking trenches up to the top. Here I'm a sniper and I have to help the team I'm with take down enemies trying to destroy the building I'm in before backup arrives. And here I need to get from point A to point B with the help of my tank. I really appreciate the variety of missions. It helps keep things fresh and interesting. I didn't like how scarce checkpoints in each mission were. Sometimes I'd be pretty far into a level, and then I'd die, and then I'd have to start way back in the beginning of the mission. Like, come on! This is one of the most frustrating, if not the most frustrating thing about the game. The graphics look pretty good in some parts of the game, but in others, not so much. Some textures are blocky and bland. Not the worst I've seen on the GameCube, but definitely not great. The controls are okay, but it can take a bit to remember which buttons perform which actions. I kept getting confused by mixing the X and Y buttons, but for the most part, pointing and shooting aren't difficult. I will say that it isn't easy for me to play FPSs using a control scheme that isn't the Wiimote or a mouse. I didn't like how grenades worked. You couldn't set the distance you wanted to throw them, and it seemed to take forever to throw one. I did like how you could stack med packs and even give them to your team, which, by the way, actually do help with attacking and taking down enemies. The audio sounded fine when it came to explosions and environmental sounds. The voice acting was very well done, which made you feel more engaged in each mission. The game isn't without glitches. Yeah, so there you go. I couldn't believe this game has no multiplayer mode. Like, really? Was there not enough room on the disc? Was the game rushed? I just don't get that at all. Call of Duty Finest Hour is an okay game.
That's weird
Pretty good
considering,
graphics,
like,
good controls and audio.
multiplayer
The
is,
variety
like,
of missions
so
helped break up
important
some of the
in these
monotony.
games nowadays.
The cutscenes were informative and interesting. The AI actually helped and were sometimes vital to your success, and being able to heal your own team was helpful. However, I really didn't like the lack of checkpoints in each mission. The grenades were almost useless, the handful of glitches takes your mind out of the game for a bit, not good when you're trying to stay alive, no multiplayer mode was disappointing, and the game just doesn't have a wow factor to it, which doesn't make me want to come back and play it. Overall though, it's a decent shooter that has its ups and downs. I've heard the newer Call of Duty games are better, and I'm sure they are based on every year there's a new one. But as far as this game goes, I did have an okay time playing it, but I don't see myself coming back to it anytime soon. This game gets a 3.25 out of 5 with the title of Passable.
You
Oh
say
yes, and Merry Christmas.
this was a Christmas review. That's funny. Yeah, it's funny. You said like the grenades were almost useless. That yet you took down a tank with one.
Mm-hmm. I do those juxtapositions on purpose.
Okay.
All right, defense, come on, let's go.
Let's go. Come on. Just squash them with their pulse cannon.
All right, let's go.
Pulse cannon. Come on. Let's go.
Oh, defense,
Defender.
right? Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know how to play this game because I got some heat for it, saying how difficult it is. But I don't know. It was really difficult for me. Mr. Toad the Gamer, new game every year does not mean they're all good.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was an extremely dry, sarcastic joke.
Well, there's still some truth to it, because I'm pretty sure, like, all the Call of Duties that are considered, like, the best ones were, like, Call of Duty 4. So that, that one came out after. And I think people say Black Ops is good, too.
I don't know. I still don't really have any interest in them.
I think I might one day play, like, the games that are considered the best, but I'm definitely not gonna, like, go into the most recent games, or I'm not gonna, like, play each one that comes out, because I don't know, they just don't really appeal to me. I'll just probably play the greatest hits, whatever those are.
Live footage of a FreQuency Seattle Seahawks viewing party
Yeah.
would be like. No, I would not do that. There's already, like, YouTubers who are dedicated Seattle Seahawks fans that are just way above my level in terms of fandom, and actually one of them I watch on a daily basis. He's just a super fan. He breaks down all the analytical stuff for me and all the stupid heads.
I don't think you understand what that comment meant. Do you think he's saying that this is what you would think a video?
Oh, he's talking about the skit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like doing that meme.
Oh.
The be like.
Right.
The be like
okay.
meme.
I didn't know he was referring to that.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say that was really random. Black Ops 3. Call of Duty Modern, not Call of Duty. Call of Duty and what's the other one? There's another...
Battlefield, right?
There's 3 of them.
Medal of Honor.
Yes, all 3. Just
do they even make Medal of Honor games
interest
anymore?
at all? Huh?
Do they even make Medal of Honor games anymore?
I don't know.
I haven't heard of any.
I have no idea. I kind of got out of Attack on Titan. I was tired of waiting for the new seasons to come out. I just got into other stuff. So. Alright, let's get to the video.
For the Defender review for the GameCube. This game is a remake of the Defender initially released on the Atari 2600. I never played that game, as I never had a 2600, but I obviously have this game, so let's see how it turned out. When you start, you're introduced to your character, a pilot named Kyoto, who receives missions from her superior, which all have the same basic objective: kill aliens and survive. The map of stages shows planets and moons you'll battle on. I'm glad there are multiple missions on each planet or moon, and many of the secondary missions are optional, but you'll probably want to complete them for 2 reasons. 1, after the end of each mission, you receive a score based on how well you did, and that score is reflected as currency, which you can use to purchase weapon upgrades for your initial ship, or any of the unlockable ships you'll acquire pretty early on, which have their own unique weapons and stats. And 2, even with multiple missions per level, the game is pretty short. However, this game takes a page from the NES days, where short games are justified by their high difficulty. Not every stage is super straining on your mad gaming skills, but there are a handful that will make you very frustrated. Take this level, for example. I have to escort a ship through a bug-infested canyon, keeping it and myself alive, as well as saving as many colonists as I can.
Worst.
Oh, and the escorted ship has a very weak attack to defend itself, and even though I have 2 lives, if I die once, I respawn all the way back to where I started, while the escorted ship sits miles away from me, completely vulnerable to all attacks from the many waves of aliens. I can't count how many times I replayed this level. I tried different strategies with every ship I had, and finally, after literally hours of attempts, I completed it. Every level is about finding the best strategy with the ship that will stand the best chance. Don't come into this game thinking it's a mindless 3D shooter, because there's more depth and strategy to winning than you might think. Destroying aliens and surviving is, like I said, the basics. You also have to rescue colonists by picking them up, even while flying at high speeds.
Oh, wait, seriously?
How do they grab the ship?
Oh, wow, look at them go!
Anyway, pick them up and drop them off at designated drop zones. By doing so, you save them from being mutated into the alien army, and you also receive rewards such as health and ammo packs, and sometimes ground defense machinery. Now, my biggest beef
Kinda
with this
wanna see
game,
a
other than the
PC
extreme
remake of
difficulty
this.
on some
really?
stages, is the capture zones of when you're trying to pick up items. When you drop off colonists at drop zones, valuable health packs arise from the building, and in order to pick them up, you have to fly directly into them. Sounds reasonable, but the game is so picky with the pickup detection. The depth perception is very low when it comes to this area, and it can be difficult knowing exactly where your flight path is when flying towards these packs, especially when they keep rising. It looks like I'm doing a crappy job, but I'm really trying my best to try to pick these up.
Yeah.
And don't think you can do
They
without
should be
them.
bigger.
You absolutely need these in order to win, and this is only one of 2 ways of obtaining health. The other is finding health boxes on the ground in which you have to shoot them so they break open, but then the actual health packs rise up into the air. Why can't they just stay on the ground where I'm aiming, and why do I even need to break open the
Yeah.
containers
Oh,
in the first
that's-
place?
that
It's
looks
not
really
like the enemy
annoying.
can steal the health, so why have this unneeded extra step? Breaking them open is harder than it looks, and flying into the health is much more difficult than it sounds. The
that
health
looks like
packs should
such a
gravitate
pain.
towards you when you get close enough, not this bullcrap of wasting precious seconds trying to fly directly into them. Each ship has up to 5 different weapons with a special weapon or ability. Like the Defender special ability is having a temporary shield which blocks all attacks, or like the Defiance, it can drop powerful bombs onto land enemies. Most weapons have a limited amount of ammo, so using your best homing missile attack on every enemy is probably a very poor strategy, effective as it might be. You can pick up ammo from crates or by saving colonists, but aside from the annoyance of actually picking them up, it takes time to go shopping for them. The point is, be smart and think strategically about which weapons are the best for each situation and enemy. The graphics are okay. It's nothing spectacular, but not bad either. Many of the landscapes can look bland, but the aliens and ships look good. Granted, this game was released just months after the GameCube's launch, so I didn't have too high of an expectation, but even today, it still looks okay. The controls are pretty easy to get used to, however I will admit I had a hard time figuring out how to actually move. I knew it was with the right shoulder button, but I didn't know you can't hold it down all the way. That will actually move you in reverse. Instead, you have to press and hold it down to the point just before it clicks all the way down. Like, really? Why not just hold it down all the way? This can get very annoying when you're in an intense fight, because your initial reaction is to press down every button completely. This was a poor design choice in my opinion, however everything else regarding the controls is just fine. There's a split-screen multiplayer mode, which is pretty fun, but also not as fun as I think it could have been. In this mode, you have to destroy the other player first, in a map that's not quite as big as I think it should be. The major disappointment with multiplayer is that there's no co-op campaign mode. The game would be much easier, yet still challenging and more fun if there was co-op, but sadly, all you get is a
this
mediocre
definitely looks like
dogfight.
a good co-op game.
Defender is a pretty good game. Okay graphics, good controls, aside from controlling the thrusters, more strategy than one might think, a handful of different ships that all have different stats and weapons, and being forced to think strategically is actually welcomed and makes the game more fun. However, the difficulty in some stages can be ruthless. Picking up health and ammo is way more of a pain than it should be, the game itself is pretty short, and a mediocre story in multiplayer mode. Overall though, it's a fun 3D shooter that'll make you think about how to approach each level. Although a little light on the excitement level, it'll keep you occupied for hours as you try to squash every bug. This game gets a 3.5 out of 5 with the title of Good.
Do you still have that game?
Yep.
Hey, let's play something.
Okay, what do you want to play?
You remember this?
I don't know. I'm kind of in the mood for a racing game.
I remember, but I
Mario
don't
Kart.
remember what happens.
Nah. How about F-Zero?
Oh, let's play Mario Kart.
F-Zero!
Mario Kart!
F-Zero!
Hey kids, did you know there's a game that combines both of what you want into one? And it's called... So dumb!
Wow.
I remember trying to get that that spotlight effect
Oh,
in
really?
the program that I used to have was a pain.
Huh. It turned out pretty well. Or turned out pretty good. Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I do remember doing that. That was really fun.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still have the game. Maybe. Could be.
You need to alphabetize your game.
They are
Oh, wait.
alphabetized. What are you
Oh,
talking
they are?
about?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the game. I sold it. That's right. Yeah, but an HD remake with co-op campaign. I think that'd be really fun.
Who developed that game anyway?
It was Midway, I think.
Oh, Midway.
Yeah.
Interesting. Espeon looks so dead inside. Dang.
What? Jeez.
I think she was going for like a dazed like, whoa, what? Really? What? A dazed, bewildered kind of look.
I can't remember where I got that music from. I think it was like from YouTube's stock library.
Oh yeah, probably.
I guess that's what happens when you do those Hey Kids commercials in the 80s. Yep. Alright, here we go.
It's time for the Extreme
this
G3
game.
review for the GameCube. I'd never heard of this franchise before I picked this game up. From the case, it looked to be a bit like F-Zero on motorcycles,
I don't have
and
this one
after
either.
playing it, it sort of is, but let's get a bit more detailed. The game takes place in the future where racers compete against each other on high-speed bikes. When you first start, you get to choose which team you want to be on, then choose the racer you'd like to be. I haven't found that either teammate is better or worse, so I guess it's just flair. Each team actually has an elaborate story behind them, which is interesting, but I also feel it's unneeded. In tournament mode, you need to pass each cup with a certain amount of placement wins. You don't have to get first in every race, but enough good placements to make it to the next cup. When racing in the beginner cups, you only have 2 laps per track, which can actually make the game more difficult because you don't have a lot of time to catch up to first place, especially when you start in last place at the beginning of each race. While racing on the first lap, you'll come to a point on the track where your boost and weapons will become available for you to use. Using your boost will give you some serious speed, but at the cost of your HP. Your default weapon is a machine gun, and your ammo is displayed via a gauge at the bottom left corner of the screen. You can replenish your HP and ammo supply via green and purple strips along the track respectively. The problem I have with these is that there definitely aren't enough of them. There are more ammo resupply strips than health regen strips, about 3 to 1, so I have to be very careful with how much boost I use at what time. Once you complete a cup, you can use the money you won, which is based on which place you earned on each race, on upgrades for your vehicle. Many of them are new weapons like homing missiles and mines, but there's also an upgrade for your engine, as well as increasing your ammo and health tanks. You will absolutely need to purchase the engine upgrades and added health tanks if you want any chance at winning. When you win all cups in a tournament, you are given the chance to compete in higher level tournaments, which sounds fun, right? Well, not exactly, at least for me. Notice anything different to this track as to, suppose, this track? Nothing. The higher level tournaments have the same cups, meaning the same tracks. The only things different are the difficulty is higher and the amount of laps. In the second tournament, 1 additional lap was added to make it 3. I mean, come on, why can't it be new tracks? There's 2 multiplayer modes, co-op
How many
campaign
tracks
and
are there?
versus. Co-op campaign is much more fun, as you and a friend work together to compete against the computer. Versus is okay, as you get to choose up to 4 weapons and items you want to use up front. For being a game near the GameCube's launch, the graphics don't look half bad. Some backgrounds look a bit bland, but some look fairly impressive. The controls can take a bit to fully get the hang of, but it doesn't take long. The main thing that's difficult is strafing on curves. Other than that, accelerating, boosting, and using your weapons are very simple. It's especially cool when you've upgraded your engine enough, and while using your boost enough, you can, from what it looks like, break the sound barrier. Just watch and listen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Isn't that awesome?
If that's miles per
Be
hour,
careful,
then
though,
you are
as
breaking
more
the sound
speed
barrier.
is making those difficult turns even more of a challenge. Don't go into this game expecting an easy race. Getting first place on each track, especially in the later cups, can be extremely difficult. The biggest problem, as I've said before, is because there aren't enough health regen strips per track. Many of them are near the beginning of the track, which doesn't help you on your first lap. You really need to think strategically and perform boosts only when necessary. The sound design needs work. I boosted the music all the way up and brought the sound effects down to 50%, and you still couldn't hear the background music much on most stages.
Yeah. You can only barely hear the
Extreme
drums.
G3 is a fun, exciting racer that needs a few adjustments to make it great. Pretty good graphics, good controls, many different weapons and items to choose from, playing co-op adds a lot of fun, and the game really makes you think strategically on when to use your boost. However, there definitely aren't enough health regen strips on each track. The difficulty can be just brutal on some tracks, the music was too low, and the controls, while good for the most part, are a bit too touchy for my comfort. Overall though, this is a good racer that you should check out if you enjoy the F-Zero franchise. While not as good as F-Zero, you'll still get hours of high-speed fun out of it. This game gets a 3.75 out of 5 with the title of good.
It's kind of crazy to me how F-Zero, which is like a game in the same style on the same console, looks like the graphics look leagues better than that game.
Yeah. I did not need my handy-dandy calculator for that, because I'm 99% sure it was miles per hour, not kilometers.
Because the sound speed of sound is like somewhere between 600 and 700 miles per hour, and that's how fast you were going when you broke the, or when that effect happened.
I don't think I've ever experienced that effect in any other race. I don't even think F-Zero does that.
I don't think I've ever seen any other game do that. Like when you go faster than the speed of sound, it like there's like a sonic boom or whatever. Yeah. I've never seen that in any other game.
Yeah. Can we watch the top 10? Maybe at the very end of this series?
Yeah.
We might do that.
And now he's on a 350-yard hole, using his favorite driver with 2 sand traps to the left and a water hazard to the right. He needs at least a birdie on this hole to keep the lead, and you can tell he wants to get this correct.
Oh, this is a very tense moment.
So easy.
If you make this, I hate you.
Let me win.
I like
I have such the right attire.
I know. I was
golf.
just thinking like this. You're supposed to be like a professional golfer, and you're in sandals
and shorts
and a t-shirt.
How much longer are you guys going for? You mean for tonight?
Tonight, probably.
Tonight? At least until 8. We usually do roughly about 2 hours worth. And I already did the math. We're going to have minimum at least 2 more live streams of this to catch up. Possibly 3, but at least 2 more. This skit was on par with your other one.
Very nice.
Do you still play golf in real life? I mean, he goes to the driving range more than I do.
I got a set of golf clubs at a flea market for a really good price, and I sometimes go to like local driving range every once in a while.
You should tell him what happened last time. Well, you told me.
About my thigh?
No, your clothes.
Oh, my clothes. I was dressed in pretty much what I'm wearing right now, like these really nice jeans and this polo shirt. And the guy said, the guy I bought like well, you don't buy a ticket. It's just pretty much
you buy access.
Yeah, you buy access to the driving range, just basically permission. And he said, I'm gonna let it slide this time, but next time don't wear jeans. Yeah, I mean, I get it. They have to keep a dress code and try to keep it high class.
Mm-hmm.
But like, still, these are like really nice jeans.
It's because the driving range is owned by a gated community.
Yeah.
That he doesn't live in.
Yeah.
So, but he just like anybody can buy.
I'm fine with it. Like it's their rules. I'm totally fine with following their rules. But, oh well.
Walk-up golf is super boring. And it's boring to watch, but
yeah.
I like to play it.
It's pretty fun to play. It's a very cerebral sport. There's a lot of tiny little details you have to keep in mind with each swing.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to this one.
It's time for the Mario Golf Toadstool Tour review for the GameCube. This is the very first golf video game I've ever owned, as long as you don't count Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. I've never been interested in the PGA games, or golf games in general, but let's see if I have a similar reaction based on my viewpoint of soccer when I played Mario Strikers Charged. When you first start, you get to choose from quite a handful of game modes to play. I'm not going to show every one of them, just know each one has a twist and certain elements in play for a different style of golfing gameplay. Each character has their own stats, which is always nice, but I haven't found that I'm better with one character over another. If you don't know how golf works, each player takes their turn hitting the ball from the tee, and the point is to sink your ball into a designated hole in as few swings, or strokes as they're called, as possible. Each club you have has a different effect on the ball, usually determining how far the ball can travel. The game will suggest using a particular club based on where you are on the fairway or green, but you can always change to any club you prefer. This game provides two ways to hit the ball. The first way is using only the A button on a strength and accuracy meter. You actually don't have to do anything to determine your accuracy, as the game can do it for you, but you'll most likely want to do it yourself. The second way is using the A and B buttons for your power and accuracy, and in this mode, you have to hit the right buttons at specific times to apply the shot you want. If you can react quickly enough, you can perform a great shot that will launch the ball very far and be very accurate to where you want it to land. I liked how you could put a spin on the ball using the D-pad. This can be very helpful to you in tough situations. Once you're on the green, it's time to putt. Most greens are not level, so you have to read the green to determine where and how to putt the ball. This game in general isn't hard, but this is the most difficult part of the game, and you can lose your lead if you don't take your time to read the green. The graphics look just like how a Mario game should look. Not much to say in this category, but that's not a bad thing considering it's Mario. Cartoony with enough detail to give it that Mario charm, and many of the courses look really cool, with some having some unusual hazards and elements. The controls are good, but that's not saying much, as the most you do is position yourself and hit A or B. You can use the C-stick to move the camera around, and actually the camera is the worst thing in the game. It's so sensitive and picky, just a slight touch can move it a long way. The biggest problem I have with it is that I can't get a good bird's eye view of the fairway. I'd like to be able to tilt the camera down from when I'm high up,
Oh my
but
gosh,
the most
Pete,
I
shut
get
up.
isn't enough. I also wish you could spin the camera 360 degrees, but you can't. One thing all of us enjoyed was the smack talk everyone
Just hit
has, and you can spam it like crazy. When another person is taking their turn, you can press the face buttons, C-stick, or D-pad to either give words of encouragement or spit out trolling phrases.
Not bad. Not bad.
There?
It can get pretty annoying when it's your turn to swing, but also pretty funny while waiting your turn.
That was definitely
Once a
Espeon.
person has started the
duh.
power meter,
Oh, yeah.
though, all comments, positive or trolly, cease. Other game modes include hitting the ball through rings, either in versus or co-op mode, or hitting the ball just once to see who can get closest to the hole. Mario Golf Toadstool Tour is
That's
a
a
good
Mario
game.
Party
Good
mini game.
graphics, easy controls, many courses and characters to choose from, each with their own unique charm and characteristics, a good handful of different modes to play, and laying down some smack talk is always fun. However, the camera really needed to be adjusted, and, well, that's really the only thing I can think of that this game suffers from. Even though there's only one negative thing I say about this game, that doesn't necessarily make it a top-tier title. It's not a game that'll blow you
very
away
nice.
with an amazing gaming experience. It's golf. It's Mario Golf. And that isn't a bad thing, but understand that as a reviewer, I need to add the technical side of a game with the overall enjoyment and experience I get. It's a good game, especially with friends, but I find myself choosing other games to play over this one. This is definitely a game for those who enjoy Mario and the sport of golf more than I do. If you're one of them, you should pick this game up. This game gets a 3.75 out of 5 with a title of good.
Oh.
I tried so hard to get a hole-in-one for the ending, but I could never get it.
Ah, come on!
I think I read, Vidi.
One second.
Oh, Link saved me!
You will never get past me, Link.
Oh, wait. What are you doing here?
Yeah, you're not in the game.
Man, you guys are no fun.
Sit down.
I think I read Vidi comment saying, on the whole, this was a pretty good review.
Yeah. I've never gotten a hole-in-one on, like, real golf courses, but the best shot I did, I took my shot, and the hole was a par 3. Okay? It was a
Okay.
par 3.
Okay.
I took my shot, and it landed, I would say, 30 to 40 yards away, and it was behind a hill. So it was right here. Here's the hole, and there was this hill that you had to go over.
Okay.
So and this was in high school. So I got it. I was taking my shot, and whoop, plunk.
Wow.
I got it, and I got a birdie on it. I was just like,
Whoa.
oh my! And of course, nobody saw it.
Holy cow.
It was so awesome, though.
Dang.
You still have that Yoshi?
Yeah, I
amiibo?
do.
Yeah.
Yep. I have that Zelda amiibo as well.
Mm.
That one was mine. Red is driver and Yarn Yoshi is the blade. Okay, okay, Bolt Mouse. That's a Xenoblade 2 reference.
You know, I've never tried a Mario Tennis game.
Have
you?
I've tried the demo of the one on Switch. That was really fun.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just kind of like golf. I'm not super interested in tennis in general, and that's just kind of why. But although the new Mario Golf game on Switch looks really fun. What's it called? Mario Golf Rush or something? I can't remember the name of it.
The Mario Golf on Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one came out pretty recently, didn't it?
Yeah, it looks pretty fun.
In that Mario Tennis demo, I actually got randomly I randomly played a game with Vinny from Vine Sauce.
Really?
Yeah, and then I lost it. It was pretty close, but my loss was actually his first win in that whole stream.
Well,
I
congratulations.
I know. Well, I think I went back and watched the video. Like, I watched that section of the stream, and I think he said, okay, this is probably going to be my last game. When he paired up with me, and then when he won that game, he's like, all right, I'm feeling this. I think I'll keep playing.
You're gonna have to show me the video.
Yeah.
Does it show your name?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
How long ago was that? You never told me that.
I don't know. That was when the demo first came out. That was probably 2019 or something.
The closest I've gotten to a story like that is there's this really good TF2 player who streams and does videos on YouTube all the time, and I think you and Espeon and I were playing a TF2 match on Barn Blitz.
Oh, okay.
And we just happened to be on the match he was recording off
Whoa.
of. And unfortunately, we did terrible, and he kicked our butts all the time. But if you watch his video, all three of our names are right there.
Wow.
That was pretty cool.
I
don't even know how I found that. It was just a random video I found.
Huh. I don't know, a year ago or so, I played in an online Splatoon 3 tournament, and my opponent was one of the best Splatoon players in the world.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you win?
No. And it was like a turf war match, so it wasn't even the most competitive match, but we still got blown away.
Yeah.
It was still pretty fun though.
Huh.
And I have also played against a handful of top level Smash players. I think I played against Hungrybox.
Really? That's so cool.
I lost to him. I lost to all of them. I never won a single game against them. I've played Hungrybox. I think I've played Mewtwo King. I think I've played DeBuzz and a player called Ned. I think that's about it. And yeah, I lost all the games.
Oh.
they're
still pretty
too
cool that
yeah.
Out of the millions who play, you got matched up.
Yeah.
I think Hungrybox is the only Smash player that I've actually semi-followed.
Oh yeah.
All the others I'm like, eh.
Yes way, Bolt Mouse.
Huh. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's get to the next one. Hyrule Warriors. The last review before I went on my 1.5 year break.
It's time for the Hyrule Warriors review for the Wii U. This game is actually a spin-off of the Dynasty Warriors franchise. I've never played any of those games before, so I didn't have an expectation going into this game. I wasn't too interested in the Dynasty Warriors games before, but that's changed after playing this game.
There are many modes to play, with Legend Mode as the starting point. In the beginning cutscene, we see evil forces heading towards Hyrule Castle, and Zelda, Impa, and Link, who isn't recognized as the hero yet, prepare for battle. The first level starts you out playing as Link. You'll slice and dice your way through enemy lines and reach your destinations throughout every map. During each level, you'll receive main quest objectives, as well as side quests to give you more to do. The side quests are of course optional, but they're very helpful in the way that they will help you achieve more experience points and items. If you just completed the main quest by itself, the game wouldn't be as fun, or long for that matter. As you play through Legend Mode, you'll meet up with other characters, most of whom you'll get to play as later on. At the end of each level, you'll have the chance to upgrade your characters in the forms of skill sets, level, Bolt items, Mouse, and I agree. weapons. We To definitely unlock need a new Xenoblade ability for your Warriors attack one of combos, these days. defense, or passive skills, you'll need to collect items throughout levels, that'd be which so can be obtained awesome. by defeating certain enemies. The items are ranked by standard, silver, and gold ratings, and you'll need to collect a lot of each kind in order to unlock every skill for each character, or buy potion mixtures that you can use once per level that can alter different things, such as receiving more rupees than normal during one playthrough of a level. Some of the items you find are new weapons. You can take your weapons and fuse them together to make even better weapons. Each character has their own movesets, but almost all of them are performed the same way. Y is your standard attack, and X is your special attack. Using them in different combinations can let you execute some powerful and sweet-looking attacks. I'm glad the developers made the game so that pulling off combos is super easy. The game would have been much more frustrating and difficult if the combos were complicated. At the top left corner of the screen is your special attack gauge. Hitting enemies and finding Triforce fragments will fill it up, and once it's full, you can perform a devastating attack that targets many enemies, usually ones right in front of you. Every character's special attack is different, but all have the same results. You also have a magic meter, and when it's full by finding magic potions, you can press R to go into focus mode. Here, your character will attack quicker and will be able to break guards. You can press A to unleash a super powerful attack, or wait until your magic meter depletes, in which your character will automatically pull off one final devastating attack. Can Not all the characters captains are the same ever when it comes to defend fighting. against that, Sheik has an elemental that focus mode?
I don't think so, and I was about to say, that fight in particular, you pretty much have to use that special attack to beat him.
Okay. Ability where when you perform a certain combo with her special attacks, she can perform different elemental attacks. Or like with Ganondorf, he has a special meter
Ganondorf
which
is
when
so
charged
fun
with
to play
special
as.
attacks, he can perform a powerful area of effect attack. Not all characters have special traits like these, but each one is very powerful and different enough to where you will like to fight as certain characters over others. The game will suggest which character and weapons to use on specific levels, but you don't have to choose them if you don't want to. However, there are a handful of levels where the game forces you to play as a different character, so upgrading only one character is probably not the best idea. I knew this was a Zelda-themed game, but I was surprised at just how many elements from the Zelda franchise was put into this game. Man, that's awesome. It's hard to say just how much there is, but just know there's a lot. From big things like the levels themselves based on areas from actual Zelda games, to smaller things like this attack right here. That is so awesome.
I love it.
Each level even gives you the chance to moon. locate and destroy golden sculptulas. In adventure mode, you're set on a grid where you fight your way through certain scenarios to unlock more grid pieces and find hidden secrets and items on the grid itself. Unlocking grid pieces is harder than it sounds, as many of the missions require you to earn an A ranking, which is based on the time it took you to complete it, the amount of enemies you destroyed, and the amount of damage you took. In challenge mode, certain missions are available for you to take on, however some of these can be very difficult. You'll really need to be on your A game if you want to receive an A ranking. The graphics are great, but honestly some of the areas seemed a bit under-detailed, and if there are so many enemies on the screen, the game will start to lag a bit. Not too much, but definitely enough to notice a slowdown. The controls are pretty much perfect, except when using the D-pad. Using it will let you cycle through your inventory, however you don't have to use that and can use the gamepad's touchscreen instead. I like using the ladder scheme better, as it's faster and very accurate. All this footage you see here is me using the Warriors control scheme, but you can switch it to Zelda mode if you like, but Warriors mode worked just fine for me. You can play 2-player co-op in any mission. One person uses the TV screen with a Wiimote Nunchuck combo or Wii U Pro controller, and the other person uses the gamepad. This can make things really fun, and might make it easier to conquer levels when on a higher difficulty. If you have an amiibo, you can use it to unlock different weapons. Our Link amiibo got us spinners for Link, swords for Zelda and Ganondorf, and even my brother's Woolly Yoshi got us a weapon. And by the way, Link's spinner is very OP. Just look. What an awesome weapon! One thing I didn't like was the length of Legend Mode.
There's over a dozen stages, and each one, depending on how much you do, can take about 30 to 40 minutes on average, and longer if you're on a higher difficulty. I appreciate all the extra content in Adventure and Challenge mode, but I think I would have liked to see more levels in Legend mode. Another issue I didn't like was the camera. While good for the most part, sometimes it wouldn't follow you correctly, especially when you're performing special attacks.
That's awkward.
It doesn't really hinder your in-game fighting experience, but the special attacks are really cool to watch, and if the camera isn't in the correct position, it kinda sucks. I wish there was some sort of online mode. Like, I think it would have been cool to duel another player, play co-op with them, or like see who can destroy more enemies within a time limit. It's not a huge downside since there's so much offline content, but I think it could have made the game even better. Hyrule Warriors is a great game that will delight any Zelda fan. Great graphics, almost perfect controls, a huge amount of content, a great soundtrack.
Oh, cool. It changes instruments. Sort of like Crypt of the Necrodancer, yeah. It's in a red and blue cave, too.
Lots of items and weapons to change up your strategy, many characters to choose from, all with their own unique fighting styles and weapons, awesome special attacks, and being able to choose your difficulty to fit your gaming style is always welcome. However, I was a bit disappointed in the length of Legend mode. The camera would sometimes not keep up with you, and I kind of wish there was an online mode. Overall though, I highly recommend this awesome game. I'd love to see a future Zelda game that plays similar to this, in the way that you get to play as other characters other than Link, and I think this could be a good starting point for some inspiration. This game gets a 4.5 out of 5 with the title of Epic.
I just love how much of a love letter to the Zelda franchise that this game is. It's like you can tell the developers were Tecmo or
I think so.
Yeah, like you can tell, even though they don't work for Nintendo, they love Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this one. Splatoon. I forget. Did you ever play the Breath of the Wild?
I have played
Hyrule Warriors?
some of it.
Okay.
And Lizzie really likes it, and she wants me to play it with her, and it just always seems to be at the wrong time. But I really need to.
I played the demo, but I really want to. I started playing the first game, but I never finished it. I only played like a few missions.
Yeah, there it is. Like
Oh yeah, Age of Calamity.
fifth from the bottom.
Yep.
Another thing, if I'm gonna play it, I want to record it for a review, and I'm not ready to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, have you ever played any Samurai Warriors game?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. Apparently there's like a dozen of them or so, or more. Really popular.
There's also Fire Emblem Warriors. I can't remember if that game was if that reviewed well or not. It looked interesting, but I'm not too much of a Fire Emblem fan to pick it up. I'd rather play Hyrule Warriors.
So this review came out, about 18 months after the review we just watched.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
yeah,
took a break.
This was after the hiatus. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was because I was so burnt out from doing videos. I needed a break, and I know I've said this before, but I was so close to making a final goodbye video on it, but I just needed some time to chill out. All right, here we go. It's time for the Splatoon review for the Wii U.
I remember watching the trailer for this game during E3 and being very impressed. It was nice that Nintendo came up with a new IP, and I was pretty eager to try it out. Then when it did, my brother actually bought the game, and after watching him play it, I honestly wasn't that interested. I finally did start playing it many months after the game was launched, and I gotta say, it was... well, let's just find out in the review. When you first start, the game actually prompts you to begin with online multiplayer.
This is the first review. I want to pause. This is the first review where I start to do a different format for the review. I have background music throughout the whole thing instead of the audio from clip to clip.
Yeah. Okay.
And actually, I have them in both right now, but like in this review. But later, I do just music only, which I think is better for the overall quality, except for some specific games. Like if they're rhythm based,
yeah,
you need that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which both my siblings and I agree, it's a little odd. Why would you start right off the bat with multiplayer if you've never played before? We decided to play single player mode instead. Single player mode kind of reminds me of Super Mario Galaxy. It's a third-person platforming shooter. In this mode, you need to get from point A to point B, tackling obstacles and putting down enemies along the way with your ink. That's right, you're a humanoid-looking creature called an inkling, with your other form being a squid. You can switch between the two anytime you like, but each one is used for a different purpose. In inkling form, you can shoot ink with your super soaker-like weapon and cover much area in ink, as well as defeating enemies with it. Your squid form lets you swim through inked areas much faster than if you were to run through them. You can also swim up walls that are inked to reach new areas in higher ground, and you can jump greater distances while in squid form. In addition to your super soaker, you have a secondary weapon, usually in the form of bombs. You can acquire different weapons as you play through, but only when you advance in online multiplayer. Speaking of which, online multiplayer can be really fun, but sometimes it can't. What I mean is, in my very first online match, I was paired up and faced off against players very near my skill level. We were all noobs and it was just fine. My second game though, and every other game since, there seemed to be no justification to the team scramble. I was paired up with much higher level players, and the enemy team was just the same. Why did it set up teams this way? Was I really the only player at such a low level in the entire server the game had no choice but to put me in with way higher skilled players? Well, perhaps the game thought I was so good, my current level didn't accurately portray my true skills. Or not. It's not a huge issue, because quite honestly, the difficulty of many of the matches that were set up like this wasn't overwhelming. I actually did pretty well, if I do say so myself. The problem I had, though, was that most, if not every other player had access to more weapons and equipment, which gave them greater passive skills. So at least for the beginning, I don't believe the game does a good job of matchmaking. My brother is much more skilled than me, and he gets matched up with players near his skill level. So as you progress and level up, my assumption is that you will be paired up and face against players near your level. Now this is just the case for Turf Wars. It's an unranked online battle mode where the objective is to cover as much area as you can in your team's ink color and prevent the other team from doing just that. At the end of the match, the team with the more ink coverage, of course, wins. Even if you're on the losing end, you'll still gain some experience, not as much as if you were to win, but a little which will fill up your level gauge, as well as any equipment that still hasn't unlocked all of its passive abilities. So even if you're stuck in a 5-game losing streak, you'll still gain a little XP, which is a very nice consolation prize, because increasing your level isn't just for bragging rights. When you level up, you're given access to new equipment, some with multiple passive abilities. The city you're in when you're not playing in matches is a central hub for everything you need. Thing is though, every vendor is a snob and won't let you purchase new weapons or equipment until you're at least level 4 in online mode, which doesn't really take that long, but what's with the attitude? Once you're finally able to receive decent customer service, you can test out any weapon or equipment before you purchase it, which is really nice. There are many kinds of weapons, all of which force you to play differently from the last one. The equipment you can buy, such as headgear, shirts, and footwear, all have different attributes that can help you out in certain situations, so it's up to you on how you want to customize your skills and your style. Looking fresh! Customization and experimenting with gear and weapons is important in Turf Wars, but I find it borderline necessary in ranked battles. Here you will play various game modes, which include Splat Zones, which is basically King of the Hill, Rainmaker, which is similar to Capture the Flag, and Tower Control, where you have to take control of a tower and ride it over to your opponent's base. I think my favorite is Splat Zones, but the other two are just about as fun. All three, in my opinion, are more fun than Turf Wars. I feel there's more strategy involved, and working with your teammates with extremely limited communication is more crucial than it is in Turf Wars. When you win a match in any ranked battle, you'll receive XP towards your level and gear like in Turf Wars, but you'll also gain XP towards your online rank. You start at C- rank, and working your way up to rank S will take hours and hours of wins. Like I just mentioned, the amount of communication you can use to talk with your teammates is virtually non-existent. You can press down on the D-pad to say, "Booyah!" or pressing up on the D-pad will let you say, "Come on!" That's it. You get to choose between a taunt or a command/complaint, whichever situation you're in. This is a serious flaw in the game, and can severely ruin whatever kind of strategy you're trying to pull off. I know Nintendo wants to stay family friendly, and you could just use Skype or Discord, but if any game of theirs calls for heavy communication, this would probably be number one. If the game won't have voice communication, then at least give us more than 2 text options. And yes, I know the sequel addresses the situation and will supposedly make it better, but this isn't Splatoon 2. The graphics look really good. Love the color and vibrancy when you're in the heat of battle. It's not a heavily detailed game, but it doesn't need to be. The cartoon look fits nicely with the overall theme. The controls can take a bit to get used to, namely with the camera. You can move the camera with the left analog stick, but also by physically turning the gamepad left or right. Doing both at the same time can quickly speed up the change of the camera angle, and is great for when you need to do a fast 180. When you're playing online, you can tap on one of your teammates' locations on the gamepad to quickly launch yourself to that spot, instead of running or swimming to that spot. Be careful, however, because any nearby enemies can see you're about to land on your selected location and be ready for an ambush. There is local multiplayer, but it's very boring and not worth going back to play. The objective is to shoot more balloons than your opponent in a given amount of time. Perhaps it would be more fun if it was more than just 1v1, but as it stands, it's just not that fun. Overall though, Splatoon is quite a fun game. Single player mode can be enjoyed in its own right, but the real excitement comes from online multiplayer. The lack of communication in both online modes can harshly cripple your chances of winning a match, and local multiplayer isn't worth your time. However, with sharp controls, catchy tunes, and the cornucopia of gear and weapons eventually at your disposal, the combinations of playstyle are virtually endless, which makes matches seem fresh and will have you coming back to splat your enemies again and again. This game gets a 4 out of 5 with the title of Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember.
Didn't we already do this before?
Well, yeah, but I got 2 balloons now.
Fine, just don't take as long this time. That hurt. That really hurt, dude. Ow.
Get closer.
Just close your eyes so you don't know when.
Go! Oh!
It's on your nose. Oh shoot!
Those balloons are crap. They just fall apart. Look, look.
Yeah.
These are crap. See? Catch it.
We're done. My phone is in my pocket. Okay.
Oh yeah, new intro.
There's a new intro.
That apparently nobody likes. And this is the first
you
Switch game.
You never talked about Splatfest in Splatoon 1. Did you ever play a Splatfest?
I don't think I did.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I've played both 1 and 2, and it's just not a game for me that I'm super interested in.
It's like one of my favorite games ever.
I tried to, but I don't know. Just
did you ever
definitely not bad. It's just not for me.
Did you ever beat the single player in either of the games?
No.
Oh man, you have to beat the single player in Splatoon 1. The final boss in that one is so good. It's really, really good.
Oh, you do like the intro. Well, good. Because it's not going away for a while. I don't know. I made a decision to make this kind of intro because the 30-second long introductions is such a mid-aughts YouTube style and the attention span of most viewers today, especially younger ones, is so low. You got to get right into the video immediately.
I don't think it's really even a generational thing. I think it's just most people just want to like watch the video, and most people will just skip it anyway.
That is true, yes, because I'm one of them too. I'll skip intros,
Same.
but I don't know. This is like 5 seconds long. I can deal with 5 seconds on other videos.
All right, next one.
Okay. Oh wait, somebody asked, did you feel rusty while recording your commentary
Oh.
for this review due to the hiatus?
That's a good question.
Rusty? I don't think so. I think it was more of a... I was ready to try some new things. And in the review, you'll see I used a couple of different transitions instead of just straight cuts.
Yeah, like that bubble transition.
The bubble, and there was a paint roller, and I try to do that when the theme works. Also, the music overlay instead of just the audio from the clips. The problem with having just audio from the clips is it can be very abrupt at times. So that's why I do it the way I do now.
Yeah, especially with clips with like lots of explosions going on and like gunfire and stuff,
or NPCs talking to you
Yeah.
when I'm trying to talk.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Splatoon 2.
It's time for the Splatoon 2 review for the Nintendo Switch. This is the first Switch game I'm reviewing. I got the Switch day one at midnight at my local Walmart, and I'm glad I had a reservation because I still cannot find any in stores. But about the game, Splatoon 2 is the sequel to the original Splatoon on the Wii U. If you already own the original game and are considering getting this, you might want to take a second to rethink it, and I'll explain why in the review. The game is highly similar to its predecessor. There are a handful of online modes for you to enjoy, but there's also a simpler single-player mode. When I say simple, I don't mean a pushover. You play as an Inkling, a human-squid hybrid. In human form, you're able to use your weapon to soak the area in ink, as well as shoot enemies and objects with it. In squid form, you're able to swim through your own colored ink much faster than if you were to run through it. You can also climb walls and jump greater distances while in this form. Single-player mode has you traveling from point A to point B,
I love
all
that
while
level.
sliding your
I love
enemies
the
with
sound
ink
effects
and
those
solving
roller
puzzles.
things make.
The goal of this mode is to retrieve all the Zapfish in the area. A Zapfish is yours to collect at the end of each level, and once you've completed every level within the area, the boss fight will be accessible. Once you defeat it, the final Zapfish is yours, and you will be able to advance to the next area. The game will test your skills as you progress through each level. You don't have to play single-player mode, however I highly recommend it, as it doubles as a pseudo-tutorial for many scenarios. It forces you to learn how to play with different weapons, something you'll most likely need to know if you want to become great at this game, even if you only plan on using a few weapons most of the time, because knowing how to use them effectively can help train your mind on how to defend against them as well. Multiplayer returns with just a few new additions. Like in the original, you start at level 1 and are forced to play Turf Wars. In this mode, you need to ink more area in your team's color than your opponents. It's an easy concept, but execution isn't always this way. For one, many times you'll be teamed up against players who have access to better equipment, which gives them an advantage, such as more defense, faster movement, and various other passive abilities which can hinder your team's success. When you complete a match, regardless if you win or lose, you'll gain experience towards your next level. You will of course gain more XP if you win, but even if you lose, you'll still gain a little to help you reach the next level. Increasing your level will allow you to access more equipment, such as headgear, shirts, and shoes. All equipment has at least one passive ability, but most have slots for additional abilities. To unlock them, you need to win, or lose, but preferably win online matches. There are new abilities in this game that the original Splatoon doesn't have, and some abilities have been removed, or rather replaced, such as the Bubbler. Instead of an instant 360-degree shield that gave you complete invincibility for a few seconds, you now have Ink Armor, which takes a second to fully activate, and will protect you and your teammates for a few seconds, but it will break away if you're shot too many times with it. I must begrudgingly admit this was a smart move, because let's face it, the Bubbler was way OP, especially on tower control. So they essentially toned it down, which is bittersweet, but in the grand scheme of things, I think this was the right move. It's best to keep purchasing new equipment with multiple locked abilities, because you never know what you're going to get once they're unlocked. I like to play stealthier and sneak up on opponents, but more often than not, I have to bull rush them, so I like playing with defensive upgrades as well. There is a feature in the game that allows you to choose which abilities you'd like to receive, but it's not always a guarantee, so make sure you stock up on equipment so you can find out which abilities work best with your playstyle.
In addition to new abilities, a handful of new weapons have been added to your arsenal, one of which is the Splat Dualies. There's a few new sub-weapons as well, like the curling bombs. Adding new weapons is great for new strategies, and they're just overall fun to use. Once you reach level 10, you now have access to ranked battles. Here, you'll play one of 3 game modes, depending on which one is open at the time. There are Splat Zones, which is my favorite of the 3. Here, you must control a certain area in your team's ink color and prevent your opponents from doing just that until time runs out, or at least have had more control if the match runs to overtime. The second game mode, Rainmaker, has you and your teammates trying to carry the Rainmaker, and ink cannon more or less, to your opponent's base. This is a very strategic heavy mode, and you really need to know the maps and be comfortable with your gear and weapons if you want to be a good teammate, especially if you can't communicate well with them. The last mode is Tower Control. You need to cover a movable tower in your team's ink color and ride it over to your opponent's base. I can't decide if Rainmaker or Tower Control is more strategic heavy, but like Rainmaker, you will need to be familiar with the maps, your equipment, and weapons if you want to succeed. Once you complete a match in any of the ranked battles, if you won, you'll fill up a rank gauge which starts at C-, and you'll also gain XP towards your overall level, as well as XP towards any locked passive abilities on your equipment. If you lose, however, you'll get Jack Squad! Well, you'll still gain a bit of XP towards your overall level.
I forgot you put that in.
Yeah, as far as your rank goes, you'll get
I love Chris Farley.
XP towards your overall level, as well as XP towards any locked passive abilities on your equipment. If you lose, however, you'll get Jack Squad! Well, you'll still gain a bit of XP towards your overall level and unlocked gear, but as far as your rank goes, you'll get nothing! Even though Turf Wars isn't as fun as any of the 3 ranked battles, it's more consistent in leveling up, and a good way to become more confident with your skills. There's a new mode called Salmon Run. Here, you'll join 3 other people in a co-op match, fighting off waves of various enemies. The objective is to gather as many golden eggs as you can within a time limit, and the more eggs you gather, the closer you get to obtaining valuable prizes. This is one of the best features of Splatoon 2, however it comes with a huge drawback. It's only available during certain times. Like, why? Even if there's a legit reason, it still sucks that this isn't accessible 24/7. The graphics seem fresher this time around.
I think they
look similar to the first game, but there's more animations for the characters, lots of reflections, some models have more detail and textures, and overall, it just looks more polished. Plus, I like how they gave the ink a glitter look in single-player mode. Sparkly! The controls are almost the same as Splatoon 1. The only real difference I found was that jumping is now done by pressing B instead of X. It takes some getting used to, especially when you've played Breath of the Wild for so long. Like right here, I try to jump, but by hitting X I bring up the map, and then I start to panic, and then I launch myself to a teammate and... how did I survive that? Anyway, if you play using the Pro Controller, I think you'll enjoy the game more. I played Splatoon 1 with the gamepad, which wasn't bad, but playing with the Joy-Con definitely isn't my preferred method, whether it's playing on the tablet itself, with the comfort grip, or just by themselves. While playing, you can rotate and tilt the controller in any direction to move the camera. You can also use the right analog stick to move the camera left and right, but you can't tilt it unless you turn off motion controls, so the game gives you options for your playstyle, but I prefer to keep the motion controls on. This is the first game to use Nintendo's Switch app for iPhone and Android devices. My brother and I tested this out, but we quickly realized it's not meant for just 2 people. You can use the app to speak with your teammates in-game, which is a very nice addition, something Splatoon 1 needed, but it's very situational. You need to have at least one person connected to it who's on your team to really get some value out of it. The main problem I had with it is that you cannot use it while playing co-op multiplayer in online mode when you're teamed up with random people. At the very least, I was hoping my brother and I could talk to each other with the app while we were paired up with 2 other random people, but this isn't the case. Well, perhaps it's unnecessary, since if it's just the 2 of us, we can just call each other with the actual phone function of our phones. Still, it would have been nice to be able to speak with everyone on your team, but the only way to do that via the app is if everyone on your team is connected to it. I also didn't like that when you were playing with a friend in a random match, you weren't guaranteed to be on their team every time. I really wish there were more stages than what's currently available. I enjoy the new stages, and I appreciate that the set of levels in any online mode changes every 2 hours instead of Splatoon 1's 4 hours, but still, there aren't enough.
That's right,
However, free DLC should help with this. In all honesty, I like the music in Splatoon 1 better. It's not bad in this game, but the original soundtrack was catchier, and I wish they had kept it. At the time of this review, I don't have any compatible amiibo for this game, so I can't test it out, but I've heard you can use the amiibo to save your weapons, equipment, outfits, and control settings. So, with everything said, is Splatoon 2 worth buying if you already own Splatoon 1? Well, it depends. If you're more of a casual player, I don't think I'd recommend it until it gets a price drop. At its core, it's the same game. However, if you're a more serious player, you'll appreciate the new weapons and stages to test your skills. Just remember, don't expect a huge change. Not saying that's a bad thing, just understand, That's how it is. If you haven't played the original and are interested in getting into Splatoon, then I think this would be a better start. Just good luck on finding a Switch. This game gets a 4.25 out of 5 with the title of awesome.
I feel like maybe you just weren't aware of it, but an aspect maybe you should have considered when like asking, should you just pick up this game or Splatoon 2 or Splatoon 1? Well, Splatoon 2 was going to get like a whole bunch of free updates like throughout the years, which would have added more stages, more music, more weapons, and eventually like a DLC thing. So like if you consider that, then yeah, you definitely would have wanted Splatoon 2.
I think that's true if you are a hardcore fan, though. For a casual fan, I don't care. I honestly only bought the game to review it. I don't think I've played it since I reviewed it.
So, well, okay. I mean, I feel like you can still be a casual fan and still like appreciate the extra content that they would have.
Well, fine, but I get it. But like, if you're gonna drop $60 on a game, it's got to be one that you're super interested in.
That's a good point. That app was really stupid. Or at least like because like you had to buy this this headphone or this headset with like an extra little thing that connects to both your Switch and your phone. It was like really dumb. Like, and you're using your phone, so like anybody with a brain would be like, well, I have this phone which I can talk to my friends with, so why don't I just use the
somebody asked what was the source of that Chris Farley clip. That was a Saturday Night Live back in the 90s.
What was that character called again? Matt Foley.
Matt Foley.
Yeah, Matt Foley.
Motivational speaker.
that skit is so funny.
Yep. It makes it even funnier because like all the actors break.
Yeah, they're trying so hard not to laugh, but like they're just like covering their face like this, giggling.
As much as I love Nintendo, they seriously need to get with the times in many areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and have been for a very long time. Oh, I heard something. I don't know if it's true, but I would assume it is. Apparently, Chris Farley was the original voice actor for Shrek.
Yeah.
And he voiced about 80% of it.
Yeah,
and then he died.
There are some voice clips that you can find.
I can't even think of what that would sound like.
He doesn't have a Scottish accent. Mike Myers was the one who came up with the idea that Shrek should sound Scottish.
And actually, it was his last take, too. Like, he voiced it something like 20 times, and he's like, let me do one more in Scottish.
Wow.
And they're like, no, it's fine.
Huh.
And, yeah.
I've heard from Scottish people that say that, like, his Scottish accent isn't accurate at all.
Oh. Whatever.
Maybe it's similar to, like, some other, like, regional accent, but, yeah, from what I've heard, it's not very accurate.
All right, Mario Maker. It's time for the Super Mario Maker review for the Wii U.
Wait, hold on.
Most of you probably don't know.
What happened? There's a timer on. See, there's a timer on this title screen. What happens when it goes to 0?
Oh, I don't know. I never tried it. I bet he just dies and like it restarts. For the Wii U. Most of you probably don't know. I don't
don't really care for sandbox games, you know, where you have virtually or completely endless resources to create whatever you want. Out of the three of us, my brother was the one who enjoyed playing with Legos and Bionicles, hence his name RedToa. I guess it's because I didn't like coming up with my own objectives. I like games that force you to complete a set challenge, so when I first heard about this game, I was like, yes! If you've never heard one iota of what this game is about, Super Mario Maker is exactly what you'd think it is. A game which lets you create almost any kind of level within 4 realms of the Mario universe. Want to create your own regular level based on the first Super Mario Bros? You can! How about an exciting airship level within the realm of Super Mario Bros. 3? You can! Scare players with a haunted house level in Super Mario World? You can! Swim through bloopers and say screw logic by dodging scorching firewall in an underwater level in New Super Mario Bros. You can! Only imagination is your limit. Well, actually that's not true. There are limits to any level you design. You cannot create one that lasts forever, plus there's a limit to how many items a level can hold. Now, for the most part, the game is very generous to how many items a level can take, but I have had to adjust a few levels out of frustration because I wasn't able to add anything else. This is one of the games you can play with the gamepad alone. All you have to do is select items from your menu at the top and place them wherever you like on the grid that overlays the level. It's best to play with the stylus. You can just use your finger, but you'll enjoy it more with the precision the stylus offers. When you first begin, you won't have access to every item. As you continue to play, more and more will become available and will allow you to expand your creativity. I didn't like this. What's the point of locking items? It's not like they're difficult to obtain anyway, so why lock them in the first place? The editor itself is simple, but it allows you to get the job done without any major difficulties. There's a multi-grab option, which, as the name suggests, allows you to pick up more than one item at a time for fast adjustments. There's also a copy tool, which allows you to copy and paste any item, or group of items, selected. Along with an undo tool, these 3 simple but convenient tools are absolutely needed, because if they didn't exist, it would take longer to build a level, and it would overall decrease the fun. There's actually more items available than what your menu shows. If you select a specific item and shake it, it will turn into something else. Like green Koopas turn into red ones, a coin can turn into a red key coin, and an arrow marker can turn into a checkpoint. Not every item has different items hiding within them, but many of them do, and it's bittersweet. It's fun figuring out which items can turn into something else, however I'm not sure why they didn't just add these to more menu slots. Perhaps it's for convenience, so you don't have to keep switching back and forth between more menu lines than there are, but if you don't play this regularly, it's easy to forget how to create certain items, like the key. I did like how you can give enemies a mushroom to grow them, or even place enemies and items on top of each other. It just adds to the potential creativity. It's cool that you can add sound effects just about anywhere in the level. All you have to do is touch the space it's located, and voila! It's awesome that you can even add your own recorded sound effects as well. I also like that you could switch the realm of any level without having to create a new one. It's cool to see the different character and item models each one has. Even though you can create some pretty long levels, I would have liked it better if the vertical space was increased to more than what's currently available. It doesn't have to be a huge amount, but if it was at least 25% larger than what it is, that'd be nice. The graphics and controls are exactly what you'd expect, so there's not much to say about them, but that's not a bad thing. I thought having to constantly hold the stylus might get annoying, especially when you want to quickly test a portion of a level after editing it, but it's not a big deal. Once you're happy with your level, you can upload it for anyone to play. However, you must beat the level and at every checkpoint if present. When you pop on the server, you can check updates to your levels, such as who's played them, completed them, or even starred them. It's fun seeing how many people can complete a level you made, but you have to find a balance between difficulty and overall fun. If your level is extremely difficult, you're not going to get many people to try to complete it, and the opposite side of the spectrum is true. You're not benefiting yourself by creating uninteresting levels, because if they get too unpopular, Nintendo will delete them from their server. I understand why they do this. They don't want unpopular levels cluttering up the server, but still, I spend hours on building levels, and it sucks that not enough people are interested in them. Granted, they're not the most creative levels out there, but I still think they'd be good enough to make it into an actual 2D Mario game. Searching for levels is quite easy if you have the appropriate parameters set. If you don't want to search for levels though, you can browse through different lists of popular and recent levels. There are event levels where each one has a specific theme. In it, you'll find a unique sprite you can play as. If you complete the level with the sprite, you'll be awarded with that sprite, which you can use in your own levels. There's also 10 and 100 Mario Challenge. Here you'll play a set amount of random levels, depending on which difficulty you choose, and the goal is to rescue Princess Peach with either 10 or 100 lives. It's pretty fun, however some levels the game chooses for you to play are too easy or extremely cryptic, which isn't fun. As I said in the beginning, I don't really care for sandbox games. However, this one is excluded from that list. Even before this game was announced, I always thought it'd be cool to create Mario levels. I had a lot of fun creating levels for the DS game N+, and so being able to create your own Mario levels from 4 different realms is just awesome. Now, if they could only create a 2D Sonic Maker. Oh, and before I forget, I'd like to issue a challenge. The first person to clear the very first level I created, called Risky Coins, and somehow proving that you did it, I will review one GameCube, Wii, Wii U, or Switch game of your choosing.
Ooh.
You must prove you beat it, so that
That's
means
close.
I need to see you and the game footage. Either set up a camera with you sitting in front of the screen, or if you have a capture card, you can do that too, but I need to see you and the footage together somehow. Upload the video to your YouTube account and send me a private message via YouTube's messaging system. I will leave the code to the
don't
level
have
in
that
the
anymore.
description below.
Yeah.
And once someone completes this challenge, I will make a separate video claiming the victor, indicating the contest is over. Let the challenge begin. This game gets a 4.25 out of 5 with the title of Awesome.
Did someone ever beat that challenge?
Yeah, 2 people.
Oh wow.
Why'd
Oh,
they
yeah.
give up on you?
Yeah.
At least we got something. Trying to remember who won. One of them was Mario Batali Jr., but the other one was somebody else. Hey, Viddies, I recently watched your video of you completing Risky Coins, and I felt so bad
he
that
was hours late.
I felt so bad that you were late because you did really well and you seemed really excited and happy to be a part of the challenge, and you know, congratulations on beating the level, but you were just a little too late.
Dang, man.
Stop reminding me of F-Zero's fate.
Sad.
Is this the last review?
Where are we at?
Yes. We'll start next one with Breath of the Wild. How about that? Because we've been going a little over 2 hours. So let's get this one going, and we'll be ending the night on this one. Here we go.
It's time for the Fast RMX review for the Nintendo Switch. So, when I first heard confirmations about Nintendo's newest console, then dubbed NX, I was hopeful for a successor to F-Zero GX. Then, when I heard this game was a launch title with the Switch, I was honestly saddened, because just by the trailer and screenshots, this looked to be an F-Zero wannabe, and that was, or is, the case, and I don't see Nintendo or even a third party creating a new F-Zero game, because we have this. However, now that I've played it, can it hold its own to F-Zero, or does it crash and burn? Let's find out. If you can't tell by the footage, or my first paragraph into the video, Fast RMX is a racer, a futuristic racer, an insanely high-speed futuristic racer. This game is actually an expanded version of the original, Fast Racing Neo for the Wii U, which I'd never even heard of up until a few weeks ago. I think you could compare this game to the original, how Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is to Mario Kart 8. The game has all the tracks, including the DLC, plus adds 6 new courses. What makes this racer unique is the different colored boost panels in relation to your machine's own color. You can change from blue to yellow and vice versa by pressing X, and if you hover over a blue panel while you're blue, you'll receive a speed boost. Same goes for yellow and yellow. However, if you're the wrong color, you'll actually lose speed. There's also blue and yellow ramps and tunnels throughout some tracks for a nice variety of boost options. If you want to boost without a panel, ramp, or tunnel, you'll need to collect orbs hovering around each track. These will fill up your boost gauge, which, of course, will allow you to boost anytime you like. Now, I thought F-Zero GX had a great sense of speed. The same could be argued for Extreme G Racing, but this game blows those two out of the water. Look at this! And this is just on quote-unquote easy mode. What I mean is, there are 3 levels of speed you can race in: subsonic, supersonic, and hypersonic. In the beginning, you only have access to subsonic races, but once you complete every track and placing at least 3rd on those tracks, supersonic and hypersonic will become available respectively. Now, even in subsonic mode, don't think you'll get first place every time. The game demands more and more of your skill as you progress up in speeds. This is where the different racing machines come into play. Each one has different stats, with the differences being acceleration, top speed, and boost. You'd think handling would be included, but it's not. However, it's a passive stat, you could say, because the more top speed you have, the less handling you have. And like in most, if not all racers when it's like this, my favorite machines are ones with high acceleration and handling in lieu of speed. Problem is, the AI is extremely competitive, as it should be, don't get me wrong, but it makes it very difficult to win even 3rd place on some of the tracks when racing with supersonic or hypersonic speeds. So, if you covet that first place glory, you're going to have to either be perfect on your turns and boosts, or learn how to play with more speed and less handling. However, one thing that makes it even more difficult, and in a borderline unfair way, is the track designs themselves. Now, not all of them are like this, but some tracks are designed in a way where you have less than a second to react. Like this here. I'm about to go through this boost tunnel and... Why is the next piece of track so far to the left? It doesn't look that difficult, and once you play it over and over, you'll of course memorize it, but still, that's a dirty design. Now, perhaps it's my own fault. I know my skills and reaction times aren't perfect, so maybe it's just me. Did the AI controlling my machine after I finished the race crash into the track? See, it's not just me. The design on some of these tracks need to be polished. Sometimes it's not the track though, as there's very little leniency when it comes to coming in contact with hazards, either on the track or near it. Sometimes, though, it's just the side of the track.
Wow.
That is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. I know I sound like I don't enjoy the game, but that's far from the truth. The game is really fun, especially when playing multiplayer. Local co-op is fun, and online would be fun if people played it, that is. Seriously, I waited like 10 minutes waiting for someone to show up, and it was just this guy. And I know it's not my internet connection.
Billy.
I don't live in the dinosaur era of technology that I used to 8 years ago. I tried several times, but only Billy showed up. Good on you, Billy. The graphics look awesome. This is what I was hoping a new F-Zero game would look like. However, I noticed when playing just in tablet mode, the half second after the track welcome screen would exit, the game looked pixelated, like for just a fraction of a second it would go all 360p, but afterwards it was fine. But that half second is unacceptable! The controls work just fine,
Wow.
However I feel like the boost button and the color change button should have been switched, X to R and R to X. You can change it in the options, but stupid me didn't think to check it before it was too late. My brain already settled on the dev's default layout, and I can't change it back. I thought it was really cool how the announcer for this game is also the announcer for F-Zero GX. Ah well, if we never get another F-Zero game, this will be a nice nod to the franchise. Oh, and also this machine.
Full con.
The music was disappointing, I'm sorry to say. It fits well with the theme of the game, the fast, upbeat melodies and such, but it's forgettable. No song is memorable. Even as I type this, I'm trying to remember one song from the game, but I can't. If you really wanted this game to be like F-Zero, then you need to play Hero Mode. Instead of your boost gauge being just a boost gauge, it's also your life meter as well. You'll need to play intelligently and conservatively if you want to win. I like the fact that Time Attack mode was a bit different than most racing games I've played. Instead of you completing a set of laps, then racing against yourself to beat your time, you play against the developer's times, which, I gotta say, is pretty challenging. If you're looking for a racer for the Switch that's just a bit faster, just a bit faster, not too much, but a bit faster than Mario Kart Deluxe, then Fast RMX is not for you. Now, if you want something comparable to F-Zero GX, this is for you. If you don't mind a handful of flaws in the tracks and love competitive artificial intelligence, then fasten your seatbelts. This is one fast, beautiful, and fun racer. This game gets a 3.75 out of 5 with the title of Good.
You reached first place!
That announcer voice is so cool. Oh yeah, I remember filming this.
This was not the shot I wanted to do for Breath of the Wild, but I really couldn't think of anything else at the time. I would have had to wait like 6 to 9 months to get the shot I wanted. because the shot I wanted for that was it would be like on a crisp winter morning, me overlooking a hillside, and just I don't say anything, I just and breath comes out. But it was the middle of summer, and I couldn't wait that long. So
next time, Breath of the Wild.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z, we're gonna do Breath of the Wild, and we're probably gonna do at least 2 more streams. Kind of depends on how many we watch on those next 2. It could turn into a 3rd time, but we'll see when we get there. So F-Zero needs to come back. Definitely agree. Really hoping for a new game to come out on the Switch's successor. That'd be really cool. I was hoping for one on Wii U. I was hoping for one on Switch, and I'm still hoping. But anyway, thanks for everybody coming out tonight. Hope you guys had some fun, and just be looking for that next announcement video on YouTube Shorts when we'll determine the time. So thanks again for coming out, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.